So it's another beautiful Pods Day morning, and it's just you and me, Carl. I don't know where Curtis is this time.
I think he's doing the old swamp shoot.
Swamp shoot.
This is going to be playing out of order. We just recorded a beefy episode, and we're excited for you all to hear it, but it was also jam-packed with a lot of things that are going on.
Oh, boy.
Much like the past several weeks for all of us has been very jam-packed, but just wanted to quickly give a little signal boost to something that I will be doing on November 2nd. I will be participating in a 24-hour streaming marathon on Twitch, which will be at twitch.tv/KarlGerm, which is KarlGerm. And I'm going to be doing that to raise money for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Reason I'm bringing it up here in this episode is because by the time, if we waited until next week, it would give people literally a day to donate if they wanted to, or help out if they wanted to, or come hang out in the stream. So wanted to mention it here, and also let everyone know that if you have Amazon Prime and you're not familiar with the platform of Twitch, you also have Twitch Prime. You just need to activate it in your account. And I will be donating all of the proceeds that Twitch gives me for subscriptions directly to Children's Hospital. So if you have a free subscription through Twitch Prime to any Twitch channel and you give that to me, I will be then just funneling that money right to Children's Hospital. So it's a donation that would be no cost to you other than 5 minutes setting it up. So if you wanted to do that, that'd be a huge help, and I greatly appreciate it. And also, I'm just going to be donating any kind of donation. I have a donation link for the charity that'll pop up on my stream and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So if you want to stop by and say hello and give me that subscription, that would be awesome, because it goes right to charity.
Hell yeah.
And I probably botched explaining that in any way, so just come by my stream and I'll explain it better there after I haven't just been recording for 4 hours.
Ooh. Oh, wait. Here comes the intro. Hey, Curtis.
Huh? What?
We have someone in the studio today.
I don't believe it.
We got Carl in the studio today.
Hey, Carl's in the studio!
I made it.
Now he's boots on our ground.
A return from hell.
He whipped and twirled his way out of hell. It is a true reunion today.
But I came back.
But, yeah, I'm producer Alex. We're doing this in reverse, Alex.
Carl Germ.
Curtis, whoa.
And I want to just up the top thank everyone, more specifically one listener who donated to my other GoFundMe, but that was it, that we reached it.
Hell yeah.
And also on the topic of saving cats, we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Calling in from California, Mike of Curious Quail.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mike. I rescue cats. That's kind of where he was going with that. But,
yeah, it was.
I also make music, and I'm a huge Final Fantasy nerd. So it's like, let's coalesce all the things into one little podcast, and yeah, here we go.
Right on.
Hell yeah!
This is very impromptu. Literally, I think last night I reached out to you, and I was like, "Hey, what do you want to be in a future episode? Here's what's coming up." And I would like to go on the reunion one. Okay, let me.
The one we're recording tomorrow.
Schedule, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good one. I kind of we should do that."
All right, and you're on a tight shift, so I guess let's get into it. Where were we last week?
We just finished the glacier area. Freezing our bums off, yo.
Oh yeah.
Although I guess it's gonna get a little colder even. At least for this next section.
We're about to head up the cliff.
Yeah, but head up the cliff.
Free solo.
Find out where it was that Genova landed on the planet. Ooh.
Yeah.
All that spooky at once.
Things are starting to come together.
Ooh, I love it when things. I love it when a plan comes together. All right, yeah. So so the very first area we get into, right, is climbing the cliff, right?
All right. So
and the whole time I'm just shouting, Yamskiing!
Don't cut the rope.
Don't cut the rope, Yamskiing!
Yamskiing.
I wish we were able to find a skeleton in ice and be like, oh no, Yamskiing!
So
oh my god, that'd be really dark.
Yeah, that would totally thematically inappropriate for Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, right. Especially this part of the game.
Right.
Or you just find him alive, even.
You find him with a.
He's like, oh hey.
You find him with a chunk bitten out of his arm, and you're like, Grandpa Simpson.
He actually cut himself off because he thought Yeltsov was dead.
I was gonna say you find Yamskiing, and he's just like, oh yeah, that dude Hulsoff. Nah, that guy was an asshole. I took the opportunity to get away from him. That guy sucks. His wife even hates him.
Oh,
It's like jokes on him. He's actually snuck back to Iskolan and has an entire relationship with Holtzhoff wife.
Oh no! Especially dark. Yeah.
My husband left. Oh no!
the guardian of the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Yamski is the guy who tells you to take the map. Yeah. For anybody who missed the gag about it last week, Yamski was Holtzoff's climbing partner, who's mentioned one time by name. I feel like we should say that real quick.
Yeah.
And he yeeted himself.
He yeeted himself down the cliff.
A self-own.
Oh no,
We're off to it early this time, fellas.
Hitting the ground running today.
That's right.
we're very fresh.
But climbing the side of the cliff is like kind of like a little mini game, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where we continually press Y to warm ourselves up.
To honk.
Like in the bottom right corner, like a temperature comes up, and I suppose
This is how I learned Celsius, by the way.
I was gonna say, I suppose it's Celsius, right? Like 38 degrees. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Cloud is just so superhuman that it can be Fahrenheit, and it's only at 26 degrees Fahrenheit body temperature that he passes out.
Is that how far down you can go?
Yeah, so it's like 27, I think, is around the cutoff, but
Oh.
it's like kind of timing based between like when it drops. But
okay.
I saw it get to like 26. I actually like failed this a bunch of times.
Really?
Yeah. So
what happens when you fail?
when you fail it, you just end up back at Holtzoff's like his little area that you.
Gotcha.
How many times did you make that poor old man climb that cliff?
I know, seriously. it's crazy though. Like this we should kind of explain a little more in depth. Like
Absolutely.
there's the temperature gauge that comes up, and then you have to just kind of climb up to little landings on the side of the cliff that have little red flags on them.
Markers.
Yeah, exactly. So you just want to make your way to the top of the cliff. At some point, like you get to the top of, and you go into a cave, and then you're in a different area, and then when you get through that area, there's more of that, and then like the screens that come next.
More of climbing, you mean?
There's more of the climbing, which has a little bit different of a thing going on where you can go like it gives you different directions, like up, left, right, whatever.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
basically, you're like navigating the cliff face, like in the directions that you can climb, while also having to mitigate the effects of the temperature.
Yeah,
right. By warming
exactly.
yourself up. I noticed also, I forgot to do this. When we were in Holtzoff's cabin, he was like, "Don't forget, you can press this button to confirm your route." I never pressed the button.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that.
I
either.
never did either.
God damn it.
Confirm your route. What do you mean?
Yeah, in Holtzoff's cabin.
No, I know, but like, what do you mean?
he literally just says, "Press this button to confirm your route."
All right.
Yeah.
Just start
So do
climbing?
any of us know what that does?
I do not.
I
And
just started climbing and like, all right, I'll get over there before I get.
That
too
could be
cold.
one of the things that we put in post.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So
it's one of
no-
those like weird translation things.
It could be. I was wondering if maybe he meant like press like A to confirm your route, and
I
like
wonder if it's like
select one of the routes. Like press
Is it-
A to confirm whether you want to climb left or right.
if it is actually confirming, or maybe it is like you can maybe move the camera a little bit to like look ahead. Do you
Could
think
be.
that
Or
maybe because that would be useful like later up the cliff because there are some things where you can't quite see where it splits off different sides. Like this goes to a dead end,
Right.
and
I have no idea.
I'm seeing
I
if
got
can-
lucky somehow and just made
Yeah.
the perfect route up. But
God gamer.
Give me.
here we go.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, but there's really no extra goodies on any of the other paths, right?
No, I think it's just like there's no items or materia or anything that
Yeah.
I found. I kind of went through all of them, just kind of by trial and error and just making sure that there was nothing. But I think it's mostly just like, oh, I'm gonna go right, and then you go right, and you can't actually climb anymore, so you have to
Right.
go back. So it's like
Whoops.
a matter of, the resource management of your temperature, like making sure you don't pass out. So
Every time I got to like below like 36, I was like, too low. It's too low. I don't know where the cutoff is. So I just smashed the button.
But,
I like planned it on 2x speed the whole time.
yeah, it's funny too that if you watch as your temperature decreases, I feel like Cloud gets a little like more snow covered almost. Like he looks
Oh,
kind of like
really?
a silverish kind of hue.
Really?
Like I think so, yeah. Unless it was something that I like was like if my game was just like being weird or something, but I'm pretty sure he looks like like he's just getting like battered with snow and just covered
that's
in
amazing. Yeah, I like as
That's
soon as
pretty
I'd be
cool.
down 2 degrees, I'd be like, oh, I gotta get back.
it. Yep.
Very like Jack Nicholson, The Shining.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So there's one
No beer, no TV. Make Cloud something.
go crazy.
Don't mind if I do. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, there's one section in particular in this climbing part where you can, if you like continue going right, you can see like the flag as you climb up to the left, like the direction that you're supposed to go in, and you're just there, and it just says dead end. Like Cloud just says dead end, which is like that. Now you have to climb back down and then like heat yourself up and then continue on.
Yeah,
but yeah. If you look at
I definitely got there as well.
If you see Cloud though, he looks a little snow covered.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. He is like he is unsaturated.
Oh yeah, he's very like
Silver Surfery, Alex Mack style looking.
But heading up, I think there are 3 caves through the whole just because there's a lot to get through.
Yeah.
There's 3 major caves through each section of this cliff.
Yeah. And so I think it was cool is like, so these are like ice caves, right? So like
They're glowing blue with like really like
they're
neon.
glowing blue, but when you like look down like the like off of the pathways, there's like a green glow from somewhere down there. I was like, yo, this is brutal. Like this is dope as fuck.
There is Mako deep.
Yeah. There was Mako underground at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's like really a beautiful cave though. Like I enjoy it in here.
Yeah.
I was getting serious Donkey Kong Country vibes.
Yes.
Yes. World.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. So I think this first cave is the one that has like a little puzzle of having some like icicles in your way.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yeah.
What is it called when they come up from the bottom? Stalactites?
Stalagmites from the bottom.
Because they
Tights
might
on the
reach
top?
the ceiling. Tights hold tight to the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
okay.
I love it. So yeah, there's some stalagmite tights. Wait, mites. Mites. Yeah. I'm
Mites. Tight.
I didn't get a video of what Alex just did. But yeah, so basically we're running around these caves looking for eventually finding a boulder to push that destroys the stalagmites.
Right.
Oh, we have a special guest on.
Ooh.
Sorry, I don't know if you heard the meow.
We did, and it's great.
Who's that?
Just kind of popped in. This is Skitters. She's really loud, so I'm going to have her leave the room for a minute.
No.
What does Skitters think
Hi,
about?
Skitters.
Skitters.
Skitters, do you have opinions?
Skitters,
What do you
what's
think?
your take on Kate Sith?
What's your take on Kate Sith?
Oh, shy.
She's purring, though.
Purring, yeah.
Oh, she likes Kate Sith.
All right.
Terrible taste. Get her at it. No,
Kate Sith has once again been defended on this pod.
Sorry, Skittles.
yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, man. Did you guys fight the evil head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Evil head.
I love it.
Evil head.
It's just a bat.
Yeah, and it uses a move called Bloodsuck. So I was showing my girlfriend. I was like, "Oh, do you like the name of this enemy?" And she's like, "Oh, Bloodsuck." I was like, "No, it's the one below that." And she was like, "Oh, Evil Head." We were just laughing at like how funny both things are.
Also, I got for beating one, I got a vampire fang, which I don't know if I've gotten the whole game yet.
Yeah.
Which is just like an item that casts drain.
Yeah.
So that's just like another thing that we have now.
Exactly. Yeah, like you can just like use it as a consumable item to like get some HP back while dealing damage on.
Which
enemies.
like after I don't actually know this for a fact. We should look this up whether magic items are affected by your magic stat.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't think it is, because I know a lot in like the speedrun and stuff. You just kind of get like early, like you will steal the right arm from a bomb and then use it, and it kind of has a set amount that it deals damage to. So
fair enough.
I think so, but I could be wrong.
Okay, because I was gonna say at this point in the game we have like the magic plus MP or materia, so it may not even be worth using items from this point on.
Exactly. Like it's definitely a thing to use if you're under leveled. Like in the speedrun, it's great because they're just like fighting like the Genova fights that we've already talked about, and they're just hucking grenades at her like the whole time. Like, it's pretty kick ass.
I got the javelin for Sid here.
Yeah. There's like an elixir in a chest off to the right, not one that you can duplicate a million times.
No.
Yeah, right.
Worthless.
There was also an enemy that I really enjoyed here. Let me see if I can find the name of it. The Zoloculter. Did you see these?
Maybe.
They're like a little worm with like round, like their mouth is round and there's teeth.
That thing is an asshole.
It's crazy.
It's spewing toxic at
So
you all the time.
toxic
barf. And what's crazy about it is they attack each other too. Like when they attack, it's like random, I think, who they pick, whether it's your party or one of their own.
Yeah.
And so they just cast toxic barf on themselves as well the whole time. I was like, this is a wild enemy.
That's wild. Did you come across the Stilva?
I did, which is like a tiny little materia keeper.
It's a materia keeplet.
It's got the same
Keeplet.
It's a little red materia. It's a red like smallified
Yeah.
materia keeper.
But
It's
that
probably like a materia rider.
But I think that was it for that cave. After we do the little
Right.
boulder pushing puzzle, we're able to go outside. And from this point on, when I was outside, I was fighting Marlboros.
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh God.
reoccurring Final Fantasy enemy. In some games, in this game, not terrible.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII, it's game over. You got game over because you ran into
They're
a Marlboro.
so bad,
Sorry.
Nate.
Yeah, I know. So like, oh boy,
It's
oh boy.
a very impressive poly count on these.
Yeah, for real. They're
I
just
think
like a,
about that sometimes. Like, this is a PS1 enemy. This looks like a lot of polygons.
it's a big mess of tentacles and
Yeah.
teeth. Like it's just it's gross
did-
looking.
Any of you bother to use manipulate and try and get a bad breath enemy skill?
I was
No.
trying to use manipulate, but luckily I had like 2 enemy skills equipped, and it just used it on its own, like while I was trying to kill
nice.
it. And,
Oh.
and then I was like, cool, I am getting the hell out of here, and I tried running away, and then like I checked my enemy skills, and I realized that like
Oh, you ran away. You didn't beat it.
I was like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't actually get, but because I was kind of still
You idiot! No,
I was still in like Final Fantasy VIII mode,
Yeah.
where I was like, oh okay, I have to run from these things no matter what.
Right.
But then, like, after that, I think there's also the second ribbon that you can get in the game in
Yes.
this area. So I just, like, put the ribbon on, like, Barret and Cloud and was just able to, like, get through no problem getting bad breath.
I hope I
Well,
got
and, like,
that,
the
but I don't
ribbon's
remember.
like hidden in a side wall too. You just sort of like walk through a wall and like there it is. It's
Yeah.
super strange.
Exactly,
whoa.
yeah. It's like kind of hard to find. And
In
it's
the
like,
first cave?
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely did not get it then.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you just kind of walk to the right, and there's like a hidden chest that's like the way like the outline of the cave is, where it's like, you know, like black. Like
Yeah.
you walk over, and then you can kind of see another area, and you just like walk through blindly. There's no indicator of it, and then you're just in like a
Wild.
little section on the same screen that's like slightly out of frame when you walk in, and yeah, there's just a.
I feel like such a maroon. Yeah. So we climbed up the next section of mountain. We get into the next cave, and the next part of the cave is kind of neat because there's like little holes or indentations in the ground. Like when you
Yeah.
walk in, like this isn't like ice bridges walking over these big Mako gaps, right? It's more of just like, oh, the floor is ice and there's nowhere to fall off or anything like that, right?
Right.
But you see like these big holes from where like stalagmites have fallen down and like, you know, jammed into the ground. And if you continue north from this room, there's a crazy fucking room where you just can fight them. You
Yeah.
can just fight icicles.
which I think you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
in
that
order
they
to,
drop
like-
down.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's how you get to there's like a little
Yeah, there's
one
a little...
creates a bridge, and then there's like
Yeah.
they fall. So yeah, you're punching these icicles, and they I guess they almost show up as like an enemy. You punch it, and then when it cracks, the battle's over.
So as soon as the thing is, the first one that I fought, I didn't even see it because it looks like it's just part
Yeah,
of the
just part of the
environment.
background or something.
And so I was like, oh,
It's
a
just
random
surrounded
battle,
by
okay.
bats.
Yeah, and there's just a giant, like upside down. Like they're representing it by just a perfectly
Just a cylinder.
a cone,
Conical.
yeah,
A
yeah,
cone,
conical, a perfectly conical like shape. There's no texture on it or anything. It's just like here's an upside down cone.
Yeah.
The timing of the, I guess you would say the winning of these battles with this block of ice is so weird because you're just like the bottom is going and then it zooms around, you see a crack, and there's a pause. Then like you do the whole like, yay, we beat it, and like it didn't actually fall yet.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
fall. It waits till after the battle to fall. It's very weird. But they all come with like 3 or 4 bats that you have to fight alongside of them.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't paying attention for a bit and got real low on health. And I was like, oh god, I'm gonna lose to a fucking icicle and bats.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, and I think there's 4 of them, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Or
so you-
icicles.
and they're pretty much identical fights. They're not particularly difficult.
Yeah. You can also get the fire armlet here.
Yeah.
On one side of the bridge. And then there's another item on the other side of the bridge as well that I didn't write down. God
Let me
damn
see.
it.
I think I have it somewhere here. Let me
Well, there's the mega elixir across from the
That's
icicles.
what it is. Thank you.
Another thing that we should mention too is there's another really good enemy skill you can learn here from what's the thing called Stevie, like
Stevia,
Stevie.
Stilva.
Yeah.
Stilva.
The Stilva. It will use a move called Magic Breath, which is essentially like a little baby trine sort of thing, where it uses 3 different elements. It's like fire, cold, and
It's like a Kujata enemy skill.
yeah,
Whoa.
exactly. It's the same. I guess that's what I meant. Yeah, instead
That's
of trine.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, still, yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. I didn't get that. I should have got it.
yeah. It's a
But
very
I'm a
helpful
fool.
one.
But yeah, this is a really cool windy area. I like because between the different
Yeah.
cave areas, there are like you go outside and around like a cliff face or whatever.
Yeah, you
and then
do.
wind back into the cave. It's like really
Yeah.
disorienting. Cool perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
Especially a contrast from like the sheer flat like wall you're climbing up earlier.
Right,
also-
yeah. You also get the enhanced sword out on one of those
Oh, yeah.
windy cliffs, which
Yeah.
I got and just was nowhere near as good as what I already had.
No, the organics is way better.
the organics is definitely better. The only like upside to this is it has a higher attack percent than the organics, but it's got like 20 like attack points less.
And
But-
is not shaped like the flag of Nepal.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. So that thing sucks. But the one nice thing about it is it has 4 linked paired materia slots. So it's like the full thing that you can get, and it has normal materia growth. So if you're relying more on materia for Cloud, then it might be
Yeah.
better to use that than the organics. But the organics is better.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, we go back outside. We complete one more cliff face climbing minigame thing again.
Yeah.
Routing and Heaton.
Yeah, right. Routing and Heaton. And we get into the last cave, which is just kind of like,
Crystalline.
yeah, it's all crystalline this time. It's very neat. There's a save point and like a little glowing pool in the middle of the path.
Yeah.
That you can
Recovery
restore.
pool.
Yeah, that's right. The classic recovery pool. I've been playing Final Fantasy III on my PC, and they at least had the recovery pool thing from then.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's like definitely a recurring thing.
I think I missed the pool. I think I just walked right by it.
Yeah. It kind of just looks like background stuff, but if you touch it, you get HP,
the save
MP
point.
restored.
Cool.
Yeah, right next to the save point. It also reminds me of I think in the Game Boy Advance game Golden Sun.
Yeah.
There's like a part where you have to go through a desert oasis, and your health I think is just going down the whole
Oh.
time.
Yep.
But when you find a
Fun.
little oasis, there's like a little pool that you touch, and it restores your.
Yeah. Dude, Golden Sun is such a good series of games.
God, I love it so much.
Stay tuned for our Golden Sun podcast
Hell
that we start as well.
The
In
shortest
15 years after you're done with the rest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The old
Every effing elemental star.
What are the Jins?
The Jin, yeah.
The Jins, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
past the oasis or nice little coolie pool.
yeah.
Coolie pooly.
We find ourselves out basically what looks like the top of the wall in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And that's the top of the, I guess, the crater is what we're assuming.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler
No, we
alert.
missed
No.
a whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on.
There's a hallway that we
There's
gotta-
a hallway we have to run down.
A very
and get
important
into some-
hallway with a very
get
important
some
rumbly sound.
goofiness.
Oh, wait, we
Yeah.
run down the hallway, not up the hallway.
Yeah. So,
It's a flashback.
oh, you're looking at your pictures like in backwards.
yeah, I'm
it
looking
looks
at-
like you're going the other way.
It's like, why would it be coming from there? All right,
I did the
rewind.
Same, I did the same thing after this spoiler alert boss fight that we're about to have in this room, where I was like, oh, okay, I need to go back like this way, and then I was outside and I was like, wait, is this where I came from? And I like started like climbing, and I'm like, wait, no, I need to go back and like hit the save point and hit the restore thing.
So anyway,
Ooh.
after we go by the healing
Yeah.
pool,
So yeah, we go
come,
into a
we
hallway.
Come we come into like a hallway facing the camera.
Yeah.
The Cloud is facing the camera. or
Right,
whatever
and
the
he's far away from the camera, facing the
We're
camera. and
running towards the
toward
camera,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And we hear like screams, like while we're doing it, like someone says, ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
And one of the Sephiroth clones gets thrown like backward from whatever's behind the camera. Like we can't see
Yeah.
it, right? And all of a sudden we hear like these like sounds, like this like, and your party members like separate and kind of like look around, and they look like, oh, what's going on?
And then they kind of square up.
Yeah, they square
Like
up.
they get into like fight poses, and like Cloud's got his dukes up.
It's kind of like anime-y.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
where they
super
like
anime.
face the camera and then they and they square up.
So
But
good.
we are in a boss fight,
Oh,
lads.
yeah.
That's
With-
right.
Schizo.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, is this the Japanese name for it is twin head? And I'm wondering, like, what the thought process was there for two head, twin head. Okay, schizo, yeah, sure. Like, why not? Like, I don't.
I think it comes from an antiquated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slightly
Exactly.
antiquated idea.
A problematic
of
term
Yeah.
for
Ooh.
mental illness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. of having multiple personalities. Yeah, which
This
is
is-
not the same thing, right?
This is in the same like time frame as when Alkaline Trio was very big, and I think they have a song called like Molly the Schizo or something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
right.
It's like, just one of those really outdated and problematic terms.
Yeah.
I vote
Right.
to call him Schizo. Like chorizo.
Yeah, after the sausage.
Shizzo.
make some chorizo out of him
Shout out
afterwards.
to the
Yeah.
shizzies.
But like you were saying, Mike, he does have twin heads, right? Like it's a dragon with two heads.
It's a yeet and yoink situation all over again.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If they were a dragon instead of a shuffling zombie man.
Yeah, and their heads are kind of weird, like to describe. Like the one is kind of just like they're both like serpentine, like with their like necks. But I think the one that's like, I guess would be the right head is kind of more like your typical snake, but it has like spikes almost coming out like
Yeah.
right where it's about to meet the neck. And then the other thing is just kind of like almost like bird-like or like chicken.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of chicken, almost a
Yeah.
chickenoid, more avian.
cow and chicken.
Yeah.
The whole
from,
thing is kind of like it's like a Costco brand Ghidorah.
It
Like
might-
there's some,
Those actually might be horns. I'm looking at like more like concept art of it. It looks like I think one is a horned dragon
yeah,
with like a mane, and one of them's kind of like a more lizardy dragon.
yeah,
That makes
makes
sense.
sense. And like the basic like gimmick of this fight is that it's the two heads. One uses fire, one uses ice.
Right. And like they can dish out some damage pretty quickly because
Oh, yeah.
like they both have full party hitting abilities, right?
Yeah.
So they can hit everybody at once, and so they can really start draining HP pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I noticed they have a lot of HP. I was like just wailing on
think
them, being
18
like, when are they going down?
Yeah,
18,000, I think.
yeah,
that
I think
right?
each,
something
right?
like that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they take a lot of hits. Notably, you can actually steal something from I think the right head,
Ooh.
and you can steal a protect ring. I think it has like a 14% steal chance.
It's
so
like
for-
super low, but yeah.
Yeah. So for like the whole first part of the battle, I was just like
Trying to get that
I was
ring.
trying to not even like attack at all and stuff. And it wasn't too much of a difficult battle for me because like the one head that would use like the ice magic, I had pretty much everyone on my team was like absorbing or
I had cloud absorbing that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I left him for second. So after the first one was done, I was like, all right, I'm safe now.
Yeah.
But
What's rad is if you've got the magic hammer enemy skill, you can just
Oh,
whack
yeah.
this thing a couple of times, steal all of its MP,
And then it just doesn't
it
do
can't
anything.
do any attacks.
What?
Every single attack costs magic points.
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's
Just
so
sits there,
good.
and you can
I-
just like steal and steal and steal until your heart's content.
That's
amazing.
I saw that as well when I was like researching just like how this boss fight is like programmed and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I never got that enemy skill because I think
Yeah.
you get it from the razor weed.
Yeah,
But-
back in like Wutai.
Yeah, so like the only like time I fought them, I think I didn't have manipulate yet, or I wasn't using it or something.
okay,
and
yeah.
just completely missed it, and I was like, damn it.
I used this opportunity to summon Alexander and see what that was all
Yes.
about.
Real cool looking.
Yo, Alexander is like part knight, part castle, part robot from the future.
Yeah,
Because like it like raises up out of the ground, and it's like a building. It's like a piece of architecture that's also like a sentient robot.
yeah. It almost
Yeah,
looks.
it's like if the Kremlin was a transformer. And
Who
like
says it's not?
throughout the series, like they've had these like kind of like it's like very Russian inspired architecture, but it's also
Yeah.
like a living city. Like it's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
that's awesome.
And,
That's a
and like
great
it
way to
has like a
describe
glowing eye that like scans the area and then fucking fires a laser and like sweeps the ground.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. And I
Yeah.
was like, this summon fucking rules.
Oh god, you showed me one of the later editions of him from a later games. and
Yeah.
how fucking huge he is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane.
Like bigger than an actual city sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I also at around this point I had Barrett in my party, and I
Yeah.
got his limit break. I think it's called like satellite.
of love.
Satellite beam.
Yes, I've been-
yeah, the satellite beam thing, and that's such a kick-ass limit break. Like the whole screen just kind of goes red, and little like crosshairs like aim onto each of the enemies, and then it just like does a laser attack that kind of looks like the logo of the show, where it just has like diagonal blue
Really?
lasers coming down. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Avalanche had a lot more like supplies and weaponry than we knew about when we
Yeah.
first joined
When
it.
did we get an orbital launch satellite? Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Holy shit! Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's amazing. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, so we beat this guy, beat this clown.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that really happens in this boss fight is like once you defeat
Oh,
one
I'm
of
sorry,
the
yeah,
heads, it'll automatically like retaliate in like a last ditch effort to.
Yep.
It uses like a lightning spell on you that does like I think like 1500 damage.
Yeah, it's pretty
So-
strong.
So if you like knock both of the heads out at once, like you could potentially just like
Game over from both of the
yeah,
attacks.
just
at once,
get hit twice in a row and just game over.
Yep.
I also think it's cute that it does lightning because it's all fire and ice attacks, and then suddenly like there's lightning.
Exactly.
Which
Nice.
lightning is the best element for that reason. They had to wait.
Oh yeah.
Had to wait to use it.
So after this,
Yeah, then we get to this part.
We-
So we step out of the cave. I'm sorry, do you want to take it?
no, you can go for it.
Okay. So we step out of the cave and we're kind of like at a one of the like cliff minigame type screens again, but there's no temperature gauge.
Right.
And the camera's like significantly closer to us now.
You can see it's only like 20 to 30 feet up until we actually can see the top of the cliff.
Yeah. So we climb up.
It looks a lot like the top of the wall in Game of Thrones, I thought.
Really?
Yeah,
Which is like-
100%.
It's just like a straight, like, just straight across flat wall.
Yeah.
And it
so-
just ends.
And what's cool is like once Cloud gets up to the top of like the crater rim, I guess is what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
Spoiler, we're at a crater, right?
It is a crater, and we know
yeah.
we know
Do
it's
we-
a crater
okay.
because people have said in Icicle Inn that something fell a long time ago and pushed up all the land and created the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we crest it, the game like just seamlessly turns into an FMV. Like
Yeah.
Debatable, but
So
yes, it was
cool.
pretty.
For 1997, like
I love trying to see the low poly models try to keep track, like try to stay in line with the FMVs.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
actually happens quite a bit coming up in the next episode too.
I thought it did pretty damn well. Personally,
I thought it was like,
pretty
ooh,
good.
but it was a nice, pleasant surprise because there's no cuts. All of a sudden, like, oh, the camera's moving in the background suddenly turns into a video,
right.
and the
you
camera
can-
zooms over.
Yeah,
the
well,
top-
as we begin to zoom over too, you can see like the Aurora Borealis
Oh,
at
Aurora
this time of
Borealis.
year in this part of the country.
localized entirely at Northern Crater.
Right. Can I see it? Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we begin to crest it, and the camera, like you said, the camera zooms over it, and like, how would you fucking describe what we're looking at once the camera like is showing us what's inside the crater?
Yeah, there's like a big like swirling amount of like energy or like wind or like a
It's like a
blizzard tornado.
Vortex tornado.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And then there's like a huge geyser of like greenish like water, which I think is like Mako or the live stream.
Yeah, it's just like splashing up into the air, and I mean like hundreds of feet.
Yeah,
it
like
is
like a full on geyser.
yeah, it is huge, and there's like it's wild. It is.
Yeah, and then it zooms out all the way so you can kind of see all of like what we're looking at, like the cliff that we just climbed as like it almost looks like a volcano, but like an ice volcano. And like
Yeah.
with a way it's
A live stream
a giant
volcano.
crater, yeah.
Yeah, and like the crater's super wide, and like the geyser part is like right in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And then like there's like a dry patch as you like slowly walk down into the geyser, and then there's that big vortex of that whirlwind,
Yeah.
and then like a protective tornado of life stream, I guess, and then the giant geyser in the middle. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's real fantasy hours.
Yeah.
But now we gotta walk down the crater, right?
Yeah. And again, I think this area kind of has a little bit of like the parallax scrolling a little bit where the background is scrolling
It's
a little
so cool.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
it
a really
involves
good
scrolling.
sense of perspective, and you can see like the other side of the it almost kind of reminds me of like when you're on Halo and you see like when you look up and you see like the ring curving around and stuff. It's
Right.
like the same sort of thing except it's horizontal instead of vertical.
Right, yeah. And we're kind of like looking at our characters running down the crater wall in profile, right?
from the right to the left,
Yeah,
Yeah, we're running from the right to the left, correct.
correct.
down a hill.
And at some
running
point,
down that hill to make a deal with God.
Maybe
bait Kush. Anyway, sorry. Anyway,
that's a strain.
yeah. And once we get about halfway down it, the party like stops, right? And they just kind of like take in their surroundings and start talking about it. And Cloud's like, "Oh, an old crater. Something fell out of the sky and crashed down here, leaving a scar on the planet."
Yeah, and then Barrett says, so all this energy's gathered here for the planet to heal itself.
So Yuffie says basically the same thing, but with an added line at the beginning where she goes, "Even I know what's going on here."
Hell yeah.
So good. Cloud says Sephiroth took that energy and is trying to use Meteor. Next time the wound won't be so small.
Yeah, very
Like,
ominous.
oh, yeah. So this is like we said before, this is the crater that was created when Genova fell from the sky and Yeah, and so like all that energy is there to try to heal the planet's wound, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it makes sense that it's so abundant.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of earlier, you were talking about the right arm that you can get from like bombs.
Yeah.
There are grenade enemies here,
Yeah.
and I got a bunch
Yes.
of right arms from them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I was trying to steal from it, but I only encountered 2 of them while I was going through
Okay.
here, and I wasn't like it's. I think it's also a pretty low steal drop. So
It
I
might
was
just be the screen even, or the next screen. I'm not sure.
yeah, but
I got them on this one.
These things are. I think I did as well. These things are kick-ass looking because they're the same as like the exact like bomb enemy that we saw and talked about before, except they're like instead of being
Black.
red, they're like black.
Yeah.
yeah, and they
fuck.
have like orange eyes, so it's like very Halloween like looking.
Ooh, appropriate for the time of year.
I should make a jack-o'-lantern that's just a bomb.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be
that would
pretty
that would be
sweet.
great.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do that.
And down toward the bottom, we can see one of the men in a black cape who's like fallen over, and he's just like, "Oh, but back to Sephiroth," you know,
Yeah.
like stammering. So he's probably dead.
Yeah,
I think he's done.
He beefed it.
He beefed it.
Totally beefed
Owned
it.
it.
So he done got Yamskied.
So yeah, and then we get kind of to like a new screen where it's like there's a
Oh
lot
man,
of
this
like
screen! How would you just even describe this screen? Like
framey.
so much. Yeah, framey is great.
On the Switch, for me at least, like the frame rate dropped like crazy.
Oh, it was wild. I was like, oh my god, it was down. It was
Yeah.
like 10 frames a second
Yeah.
maybe. But all of the areas going on now, like we're getting into like a very like apocalyptic, like almost like religious, like it's weird. It's hard, like all the architecture and all of the land and all the formations that we're walking on and going through are very like visions of like the apocalypse kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's very
Absolutely
weird.
Like it looks like we're walking on some kind of ice, but it's like glowing, like a faint glow of like
Mist.
blue or misty and stuff, and there's all these like stalagmites.
God.
I just learned is the correct.
Spiry,
Yeah.
spiky, basically rock spires sticking out of the ground.
Yeah, and it looks like they're all kind of going in the same direction, which is the direction we're walking in. So
Right,
I kind of
toward the center.
I kind of took
Which
that
is-
as like
Which is weird because if there's an impact, it would normally be pointing the other direction.
Yeah,
I was
Which
gonna-
means maybe they're being pulled towards whatever is happening.
That's what I was thinking, where there's just so much like not no pun intended, but like gravity to this area. Like it's such an
Yeah.
important spot that like it's literally just being kind of like drawn in.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. Yeah.
where the opposite of erosion is.
Yeah.
Now-
In Dark Tower terms, it's following the beam.
Who did everybody have in their party?
Barrett and Tifa still.
Alex.
I think I had Barrett Tifa as well.
Mike.
I had Tifa and Sid.
Okay,
Hell
well,
yeah.
guess what? So I had Yuffie and Sid, and if you don't have Tifa on this screen, you stop, and Tifa goes, "Cloud, wait for me," and runs up, and you have to take Tifa.
Oh
in
wow.
this part, yeah.
That makes sense.
She says, "Please take me with you. You're going after Sephiroth, right? I lost a lot because of Sephiroth, so please take me along."
Last time we had a mandatory party member, it did not end well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I like is you get an option to, I mean, not an option, you have to take Tifa, but you can choose who in your party you're going to let go. So I was like, okay, well, I'll let Sid sit out for a second. And if you let Sid out, he actually like walks to the side on the actual game screen. And his text is, "Man, I sure am thankful. I want to rest a while." And I was like, well, if you didn't want to come.
Yeah, dude, you should have said something. Yeah, and if you already have Tifa in your party, she just says the same stuff that she said to Curtis, but just like unprompted. She's just kind of like, "You're going after Sephiroth, aren't you? Like, I've lost a lot because of Sephiroth. Let's go.
Oh, okay, so she says that anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Let's fucking go."
Let's fucking go. Go.
She says, "Let's a go," like that red plumber we all know and love. So we make it to the next screen, and it's just more of like the, like rocky terrain, like cliff.
Well,
sort
I
of
mean, this
stuff.
one is a little bit different than the last one, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like,
It's not like snow covered or anything.
or whatever the fuck that glowing like fog mist
Yeah,
was on the last screen.
Exactly. We're back to having a normal one.
As normal as it gets in the
Yeah, as
northern
normal as it
crater.
gets, like it's straight up like moon geography here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
a real-
perfect way
yeah.
to say it.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Green moon shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, there's a lot of canyons too. Like we're like walking on a very like narrow path on this like weird, moon mountains kind of area. It's very foreboding. It looks very mean. you know what I mean?
Yeah, and down like below like a small cliff drop that we are walking towards is another one of these like cloaked Sephiroth clones.
Yeah, and he just fucking falls off the cliff
Yeah.
to his Yamskis. That's gonna be the title of the episode. Just like get Yamskied.
And then there's as
I
you
don't want to go
continue
Yamskiing. Anyway.
Yamski free.
Cross country Yamski.
But when you continue walking like to the left towards like our destination, there's a red sprite on the screen that
Hell yeah, there is.
isn't important at all, so we're just gonna move past it.
Yeah.
No.
Red Sprite.
Yeah, it's just it's a summon materia for
Oh.
Neo Bahamut.
Ooh boy.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
A really kick-ass summon.
It
Yep.
looks so fucking rad.
It's real metal.
If only here in a couple seconds we had a good
Reason
excuse to use it. So also like directly north of the Neo Bahamut materia is a save point.
Yeah.
Right? And like, you see a save point, you use it, man.
You should probably save.
Yeah, something might be coming up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of save points throughout the section.
Yeah.
That's true. And like it's also like on like a separate little like precipice too, right?
Yeah, you have to hop over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like parkouring up and down these like little cliffs because they're not like a contiguous like bridge or platform or anything all the way over here. We're like getting real wild with the geography.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm always curious if there's an in-world, like, if you were walking around the world and there was actually a save point, like, what does Cloud see it as, or like, is this something that someone installs? Like a
well,
just you wait.
in
Alex.
this game, there's actually an answer for that.
Yeah.
So
Like
in
someone-
this area, but way later. I feel.
yeah,
like.
you're right. It is in this area.
Yeah, so,
Interesting.
Way later,
like end of the game.
like the
later.
last episode we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
Do you guys ever play Xenogears?
I have not.
Oh,
no.
Oh my god, the best explanation for fucking save points
Really.
in any game. They're just like, you keep being like, why are the bad guys able to keep tabs of where we are all the time? And then they're like, yeah, we keep getting information from these little save things we installed. And you're like, you bastards.
That's really good. That's how Kate Sith is doing it.
Yeah.
It's fucking Foursquare selling our data.
Yeah.
Niantic.
Shinra has
Yeah.
hacked the PHS.
Yeah.
Have you played Chrono Cross? Because
Hell yeah, I have.
there's a similar sort of like, what's with all these save points? And then
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
In Final Fantasy VIII, there's the room at the end with like 30 save points in it.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all neither here nor there.
That's our new segment, Save Point Hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if the latency is gonna like pick that up on the actual recording, but we said that at the exact same time.
I'll make sure it stays.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I've been drinking soda.
Why? Why are you doing that?
I aimed upward. I tried to get as far away from the mic as I could with my
I'm
limited
gonna find you
amount of
like Coca-Cola patches so you just like deal with that addiction you got. Yeah, slap it on.
time. I know.
Kick the habit.
I
Spread
just
it
like,
on.
you know how like people will like they'll like chew instead of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I just need like syrup and water to just like wash around in my mouth.
Just mix
all
it up with
day.
some cornstarch.
Some
Like,
molasses.
so it's like
Yeah.
gummy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you one of those like wheat things that like old timey farmers or prospectors would chew
Right.
on.
gross.
It's just hardened fucking like syrup.
So like when we go to save,
Sorry.
that's okay. That's okay. When we go to save here, we can see that this place is called the Whirlwind Maze.
That's a pretty good name for
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's not much of a maze, but it's definitely a whirlwind.
Well, as soon as we walk out, like just a couple like feet to the left, we actually see a lot of this whirlwind too.
Yeah.
Like,
But before
just,
that,
can we see it before that as well?
no, I said but before that something happens.
Oh well, it happens exactly when I can see it. So
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, you're
Like-
talking about the background.
yeah, the background.
The
yeah.
background is whipping and tearing.
Oh, hey, whipping and telling. Yeah. So, yeah. You're right though. As soon as we walk over a couple feet too, Cloud looks up in the air and says, "That's ... and motherfucking Rufus.
And
It's that guy.
It's that guy.
That man.
Yeah.
the screen changes to like a deck area, and there's like a bunch of people like kind of at consoles and stuff, and we see
Yeah, it looks like the bridge of a ship.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Kind of
and we-
like it reminded me a little bit of Avengers, like the big airship in that Shield has.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Similar. It's
Yeah,
just a big-
totally.
it's a big airship.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what it looks like on the outside yet, but
Yeah.
But inside it's like just like a giant deck with a huge front like viewing platform.
It looks nice and cozy.
Probably costs a lot to heat up.
And there's like you said, there's like technicians at consoles piloting it, and 3 people that we may have seen before
that we know and love.
Yeah,
friends of the show: Scarlet, Rufus, and Heidegger.
Yeah, friends of the show. Right?
Before we move to, there's also 3 guys working at consoles. The guy in the middle is driving me crazy because it looks like he's on his tippy toes, but he's actually
bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. He looks like he's...
Yeah, maybe that's a perspective thing. He's definitely like...
It's the same console, though, so he should be just as far...
Yeah.
Maybe he's just really into it.
Or maybe he's on his knees. That'd be really funny.
He's just extra tall, so he has to be on his knees for it. And it's somehow still bigger than the other guy.
Relatable, but...
I relate to the what I'm assuming is the pilot, who's not even tall enough to like clear the wheel. Like the wheel is taller than he is.
Oh yeah, it's like
how's your
wider than his wingspan.
Yeah.
How's your new whip, Curtis?
Oh yeah, I got a new car and it's very nice. It's very tiny, and I was able to find a parking spot very easily on the street instead of my like SUV that I used to drive, where I'd be like, oh, there's only enough room for 2 hatchbacks there. I will never fit.
Yep.
So it's dope. It's made
parking
in Belgium, like
the
the waffles.
So on the deck of this supposed airship, we get Rufus.
Woofus.
Yeah, so Rufus
Bring in the
says,
Rufus.
bring in the motherfucking Rufus.
Yeah.
And he says, so I finally found you. And then Scarlet just starts laughing, like a
lot.
Crazy horse laugh.
Yeah, she does her crazy laugh, and
This reminds me again of that fucking coach in Letterkenny. Just laughs way too fucking
Yeah.
long.
Well, they even have like I feel like there's even a gag with that in her text too, because she's like verbatim, kya ha ha, kya ha ha, ha ha, ha, ha. There's like a final one.
so there's like 4 dialogue boxes that pop up, and then you hit like confirm, and then it continues, and then another one, and then it continues, and then she finally says, "This is incredible."
Ha 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 ha.
Scarlet is the Mandark. Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, we all know Hojo's the Mandark.
Yeah, that's
Let's get
right.
real.
That's true. What does everybody remember what everybody's position is in Shinra?
She just knows
Weapons development?
She's weapons development,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. Heidegger is like the peace.
Peace preservation.
That's
Corps.
the one.
Yeah. hell yeah.
Is he technically the boss of the Turks? Or no, is that Sang?
Heidegger is.
Heidegger is above Sang.
Sang is above the rest
Sang
of
is
the
a
Turks.
botch.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then who's the other one? Reeve is the city.
Urban development.
Urban development.
Development.
Nice.
Is that everybody?
There's Palmer.
Oh, Palmer,
Yeah,
space.
Palmer of the
Yeah. Palmer,
space
space
program.
boy.
Yeah, that's right. And then Rufus, right? And that's everybody?
I think so.
Yeah, that's senior staff.
And then the Turks, but we. Yeah.
Technically,
Domino.
Mayor Domino, yeah. Who just sits in his library all day.
He's just bookkeeping.
All right, I just wanted to bring all that up again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just for review.
A nice
Yeah.
little refresh.
Scarlett's here.
Yeah, right.
We haven't seen her since Gungaga? No, or
Yeah, she was in Gungaga.
when you were
Checking
looking
out the reactor, yeah.
Yeah,
looking
with-
for some big voluptuous materia.
Oh yeah, looking for that
Big,
big,
huge
materia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can
Huge
dig-
being the only word of that was capitalized, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Then Heidegger says, "This is the promised land the president has been searching for." And
Yeah,
then-
Roof is just right there. He says, "But I'll be the one who gets it."
Yeah,
Which, like, that's kind of fucked up.
yeah, and then he says, "Sorry, old man,"
I guess.
which I think he's talking about his dad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
Hojo.
No,
Maybe you're
yeah.
right.
I
His
think-
dad, you're probably
yeah,
right.
'cause his-
you're right.
That
Well,
was the
when-
goal of President Shinra.
When they say
before-
the president, they mean the former president. right?
Oh, yeah, that
But he's
maybe
like,
so.
this is what the president's been searched for, and so he took over and like, yes, but it'll be mine basically now instead.
Okay.
Instead, it's weird because I feel like it was like I'm here to finish what my father started, but instead he's like, no, yeah, I'm gonna take over it because I'm gonna do a better job.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a guy who had a speech prepared for, oh, cool, my dad's dead. All right, so I'm going to just talk about my ascension now. Like,
my ascension,
Right.
where
He's not
I lead
exactly
with fear.
Yeah.
yeah, he's not a loving son.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, like, even the original President Shinra, right? Like, he was like, oh, when we find it, we'll be able to support all of these cities that we're building. Like basically just like
Yeah.
basic imperialist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just like, yeah, we're just gonna take over everything and we'll use it for our power and people will love us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And Rufus is just like, no, fuck that. We're gonna use it for fucking like weaponry and keeping
Power,
people down
yeah.
and power. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty fucked.
But then we hear a laugh that's pretty familiar, and
Yep.
it's Hojo, and he's just saying hee 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 hee.
Who's being like kept watch over by Rude?
Yeah, he's just
like
standing
Rude's
there.
just standing there like staring at him, and like I don't know if he's like his bodyguard or supposed to like keep him
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't try any
because
shit.
Hojo's not with Shinra now.
He's supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah, well, he's not even with them. He left Shinra completely.
Yeah, and Heidegger was really pissed about that.
Right.
Yeah. So I bet they like kidnapped him or something, or
Yeah,
and they were
they-
like, "Hey, you're coming with us." Which I mean, Hojo was probably like, "Oh, you're going to the Promised Land. Yeah, let's
Oh
roll."
yeah, no, I need to be there too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see what's going on there. Yeah.
So yeah, I get the idea that Rude's just watching. him.
He's got some stakes in this a little bit.
Yeah.
Personally.
Right.
And then he's laughing at what Rufus said about how he's gonna like take over the Promised
Yeah.
Land, and he says that land is no one's. It's where the reunion will take place. They will all gather here. I wonder if we'll see Sephiroth.
Ooh, I love the line. That land is no one's.
Yeah.
That's
that
so
This land is
one's.
no one's.
Like that's so brutal.
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
it.
kicks ass.
But yeah, so we go back down to our party.
Yeah.
After this, and like we go to the next screen, and there's gonna be another series of tiny little mini games that I'm awful at.
Yeah.
Awful
this
at
one's
them.
I'm
real
so bad
tough.
at this.
No, I don't understand how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Just trial and error, baby.
that's exactly what I
I mean,
did.
it took me usually 2 tries, maybe. Like, okay, that was like too early
Yeah.
or something like that. Or
This first one, first try.
Yeah,
The next two, like 10 tries each.
Yeah.
this,
so
this
what
is the Kate Bush mini
Yeah.
game.
So what this mini game is there's just like a little screen that has we're walking on a cliffside. There's like
We're
it's almost
walking on cliff sides. Whoa.
like- It's
Yeah.
it's
Whoa. Whoa.
woes. It's almost like a bridge, like a naturally formed bridge, and
Yeah.
like halfway through to where we're trying to get to at the end of the screen is like this whirlwind that we're on the outside of it. So we have to get through it, and we have to wait for the wind to die down enough for us to cross.
It looks like the Natural Bridge State Park in Kentucky.
Hell yeah.
Let's
So
go.
yeah, we'll go there and be like, "Oh, the wind's blowing." Just like recreate this scene.
But yeah, and right by like the wind barrier are 2 more of the Sephiroth clones.
Right, who I'm assuming just got fucking demolished by that wind or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
They're all going to be part of
And one of them says, "Whoa!" Actually, now that I think about it,
perfect.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
So when you get close enough to it, though, Tifa kind of explains the minigame, and she says, we need to cross when the wind is calm or we'll get swept off.
Which is not true. You don't get swept off. You
Yeah.
just get kicked back, and then a battle begins.
Exactly, yeah. So and yeah, one of the clones that you can talk to just says, "Oof, Sephiroth." Like,
Yeah.
More of that. But and then after you talk to them, they like disappear, like they kind of flicker a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
and disappear and turn into an item.
Yeah, I know. It's
So
like,
the first
you remember
one,
when we got to Nibelheim and they all just had items on them?
Yeah.
And I kept being like, what are we doing? We're just grabbing them from them?
Yeah,
like,
we're just pickpocketing all these clones.
yeah. And like now we're just doing it with their dead bodies as well.
Their
We're like,
corpse.
yoink. Finders
Yeah.
keepers.
So the first one is a high potion, and then the one who says "whoa," which I thought he was saying "who," but he's actually saying "whoa."
Hoo-wah!
It is woe, yeah.
Who?
Yeah, woe's a high potion, I think, right?
And
Oh no, the
yeah,
first guy's a high potion.
Yeah, high potion, and then an ether.
An ether. Okay, got you. Ether. I listened to a. Here we go again. I listened to a podcast last night about the invention of ether as an anesthetic, and it
Oh, wow.
was really fascinating.
Nice. What podcast was that?
The dollop.
Oh, hell yeah, the dollop.
So it was
I need to listen
very
to that one.
irreverent. And
Yeah,
yeah, it
I've
was
heard good things about that podcast.
Oh, it's fantastic. So there's our endorsement of the dollop podcast.
So we're all gonna start doing ether.
Yeah.
Recreationally.
Yeah, so this next screen is also pretty fucking tight, right?
Yeah, and if you try to walk while the wind is blowing it, we should just say, like we mentioned, that it just starts an encounter, and you just fight a wind wing,
Okay, yeah.
which is
yeah.
just like this little, like dragon sort of.
It reminds me of the Drake that we fought.
Boring.
Going to Wutai.
Yeah, it uses Arrow 3, which can be, tough.
Do they
but-
use Arrow 3?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
luckily got rid of them before they did.
Yeah,
Oof.
they're easy to take down. They can use Arrow 3, which isn't a huge deal at the HP that we probably have at this point, and
Yeah.
it's good because it'll build up your limit break pretty quickly.
Got you. Okay,
So.
okay. That makes sense. But yeah, this next screen is fucking dope.
There's a gathering.
Yeah, it's kind of like the continuation of this little natural bridge that we're walking along.
The camera sweeps up first, and we see a little.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, we see little guys starting to parade up there.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's how many
Procession of clones.
There's a lot. There's 7 on the
10.
top of the screen, and I think there's 5 more that are
It
kind
looks
of
like 12.
trailing behind. Yeah.
12.
Total,
Okay,
yeah.
so there's 12 of these Sephiroth clones. Which, wait a minute. Wait a second. If Red is 13, and they said that 13 might have been the last one, but we've already seen like 5 of them die throughout the course of the game.
Well, we haven't
Right.
been seeing them in sequential order.
So we're saying that it might be more after Red.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh wait, did they say Red is the last one?
TV at one point
Mm-hmm.
says, "How many do you think there are?" And Red's like, "Well, Hojo just gave me this 13, so it's probably safe to assume that there may be 13."
Hojo skipped over 13 because he's superstitious.
Ugh.
Then he's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, he just
this
goes
number
back
is
and
getting-
like-
Different than the others. I'll just slap a 13 on it.
Yeah,
It's like at work when I have to like rename computers or something, and like I forget where I left off, and then I'm like, "Shit, I never made a PC 13," so I have to change that.
It reminds me of like
all I'm saying is this game is trash, and I'm done with it.
a common senior prank is like letting loose pigs in the
Yeah.
in the school, but they're like numbered 1 through like 5. But
Yeah.
you leave like you never number. There's an extra one. There's one less, and you're like, where's number 3? Like there is no number 3.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 4, and 5.
You took number 3 and you roll them up in a carpet and throw them.
Well, you
off
just
a
like
bridge.
they're so the school's looking for 3, but there's no 3.
That was a Simpsons reference I made. I'm not
Tell-
actually advocating for doing that.
Tail is straight, tail's curled.
Curly straight,
Curly straight. I don't think he likes that. Anyway,
Do you think any of these clones look like Red underneath?
They're not walking like he was on the.
It's hard to
On the ship in his
Yeah.
human suit.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe Hojo perfected his bipedal
Yeah.
serum. It was like, oh, like this one has having a hard time
his
standing on 2 legs.
bipedal serum.
They all just look like Johnny, but they're not Johnny.
Oh my god! It turns out like the big twist of the game is that Johnny was in the clones. Like,
He was like, oh, this one can't stand on 2 legs. So.
yeah. So yeah, this is like a continuation of that bridge that we were just on, that like where the wind was blowing, but it's like super spirally and doubles back on itself.
It's really
like,
windy, yeah.
It almost looks like, you know, like those like Japanese depictions of like little poops or whatever, how they like spiral up or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, like
It's
the emoji poop.
Yeah, if you're looking at it in a bird's eye view, it almost looks like that.
Well, I would have said it looked like your lower intestines, but
That's also
That's also
acceptable.
poop.
that's also poop.
That's,
Yeah.
that's where the poop is created.
Basically, it's
The
like
poop is stored in the.
Northern Crater.
I just took a piece of coffee and almost choked on it laughing at that. But there's a chest over here, all the way to the right.
Yeah,
that-
and
After one of the other clones also eats
yeah.
himself.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the clones like fucking fall off the fucking thing. Other ones just double over and just die right where they're like standing.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's like an intentional thing. It seems like, I mean, every time we've seen these things, they've kind of had like very labored looking movement. So they're all
Yeah.
kind of like in like a procession towards like where we're heading as well. And like it seems like they're just like so weak and they're like their footing isn't like that great. So they're
Yeah.
like they're not intending to fall. Like they're trying to get where they're going, but they're just falling off. And it's
Right.
like
Well, you'd have to assume that they probably made the same turn that we did as well,
Yeah.
which could explain why.
Yeah,
they're
I
just
mean-
completely just beefing it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I get the idea that like these are kind of like zombie-esque, obviously, because of like their
Yeah.
lack of faculties, I guess.
Or
Um,
like migratory
Maybe.
instincts.
But they
like
probably don't like
Gooses.
yeah. But I imagine that they're not like
Gooses.
at all like they don't have the presence of mind to take care of themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I imagine that like as they're making this journey and getting like cuts and getting injured, they're just not dealing with the injuries and continually shambling toward this crater. And we're at like the
no
coldest
rest, no food, like
yeah, exactly. And like they are like people essentially, like when we saw the guy in the earthen pipe or whatever,
Yeah.
they're human beings, right? And
Yeah.
so like they're just over that amount of time, if you don't take care of yourself and your injuries or eat or rest, like you just die, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing like the most harsh conditions in the game is finally taking out a lot of them at once.
Yeah, and what we were talking about last week with like Genova and the Cetra and all of that, where they were talking about the virus that was given. I wonder if that plays into it as well, where like this guy are sick.
It
Like I
could.
wonder if it's like he's sick because he has the same kind of virus.
That's entirely possible.
Could
yeah.
be.
Oh.
Because we know that like that these clones have been messed with by Hojo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Utilizing information he knows about Genova.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Genova was in the Shinra building where he was studying as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's actually entirely reasonable to believe.
It's again all conjecture, but that's what we do here.
Yeah, right.
There's some wacky enemies around here.
I love some of the enemies here.
The Ironite is that?
The Ironite's good. I really like the Gremlin.
Have the Gremlin.
Oh yeah, they are just straight up little gremlins.
Oh, I do.
Like it's funny. I saw this thing and I was like, that looks like a
Furbies?
gremlin to me. Like the thought that I had in my head was
From
gremlin.
Gremlins.
Yeah, and then I went to attack it and it said like attacking gremlin, and I was like, hell yeah.
We also get the Kaiser Knuckle here,
Oh yeah.
which I thought I didn't know this. I don't know this for a fact, but I was like, well, they're making us bring Tifa, and I haven't been playing with Tifa the whole game, so I almost feel this is like Final Fantasy VII's way of being like, hey, just in case you haven't been keeping her equipped, Here's a weapon for Tifa. And I was like, oh, thank you. I do need this, actually.
Yes.
So, although, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it was worse than what I already had, which was the
Yeah, I
Diamond
think
Knuckle.
you can buy something better in Escalon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had on. It's not even like the last weapon that we found with Cloud, where it has like all the linked materia slots. It has what is it? It has 8 slots, but only 2 of them are
Linked.
Are linked. Yeah.
Okay.
So and it's I currently have the Dragon Claw equipped to Tifa, and that it's not nearly as powerful as that. So you know.
Yep.
So yes, we get to the.
If you threw all of Tifa's gloves with the throw materia, then they're like, well, you're probably going to need it.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, can never bring myself to throw anything.
I know, I can't.
I have to keep it the whole time. I also don't like. In all Final Fantasy games, I don't sell anything.
Yeah, I'm the same
Never.
way.
Yeah,
Same way.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't have enough money for a thing. Time to go back outside and grind. Never sell anything.
I haven't needed to yet, but I have a couple of mastered all materias, and
By this point?
yeah,
Holy shit.
I've been
Dang.
grinding a lot.
Yeah.
But
Every single time you say all material, I think you're about to say almonds.
almond joys.
I have some mastered almonds.
some 3 million gil
They're better than-
almond joys.
They're better than activated almonds.
Better than activated almonds. If you master an almond, just another almond just pops out at level 1. It's a very slow way of growing them.
Yeah, but I can't even bring myself to sell those, even though it's very worth it.
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
you just don't need to sell anything ever again.
So at the top of this windy area, I guess, where the sky is getting more and more windy as we go. I mean, windy. Not windy. Windy past windy
a little,
skies.
both kind of.
Oh yeah, maybe it's not actually called a wind wing. Maybe it's a wind wing because of how windy this place is.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a.
I just read the name Wind Wing and thought, like, did you ever know that you're my hero? You're the wind.
You
beneath
are
my-
the wind beneath my wing.
It's the wind maze, guys. It's the wind maze.
yeah.
I hate that wind and wind are spelled the fucking same.
English is such a dumb as shit language.
Calling you out, English. Come on the podcast.
Defend yourself.
You think you just make up words.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get this next scene done before we go to break.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wind up the weird poop slash intestinal shaped
Bridge. Yeah.
bridge. All the clones are gone.
And then we get to like a portion of the bridge that's like
Awesome.
cinematic as hell. I love it.
The windy one.
Wait, is that right here?
There's another windy another windy bridge after that.
Yeah. So we're on the second.
My
one.
mistake.
But-
So there's more whirlwinds.
I'll let y'all take that one for a whirl.
Yeah, so this one, I think the way that this puzzle works is like the frame window that you have between each thing gets smaller and smaller. So each time you get to one of these weird wind puzzles, it gets harder and harder because you have less of a time frame that you can get through.
Right. The second one I think I got pushed back finally because it was. He had a kind of time when you start sprinting up the hill because like, do I do it right when it's dying down? Do I do it right when it's cleared?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I think that you only have to pass one threshold.
Yeah, it's like one small area, but it's
Because it starts like you can see it kind of picking up as you're like reaching top. You're like, oh no, like am I gonna make it?
It has visual cues, and there's like a green like wave sort of thing that goes by, which can kind of throw you off because you're like, oh, I have to go when that green wave isn't there.
Right.
But then the wind is still going, is a lot more transparent, and then you get knocked back. And every time, it's still always that enemy that's like easy to take down, so it's not too.
It's just annoying because when you want to go try it again, you're like, I gotta wait a couple seconds.
Yeah,
here,
exactly,
and try it again. Yeah.
All right, so after we get up
There
that
we
hill,
go.
now we're after. That wasn't really much of a maze at all.
Yeah.
It's just a windy path.
It was amazing.
All right.
I thought that was a cat for a second. I was like, ooh.
Much like that Sephiroth clone said, whoa.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. Yeah, so the man himself is on the next screen.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
President Shinra.
Sephiroth.
Donald Duck.
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah, there we go. That was the best one yet.
I'm getting there.
Donald Duck. He's got the
Mike,
black materia. We have to stop
You're a
him.
guest on our podcast. It's time for you to say the word, say the name Sephiroth in Donald Duck's
Oh no,
voice.
I'm so sorry.
Sephiroth.
Whoa!
Holy
That's
shit.
pretty good.
That was the best.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that in editing.
We just put that up on YouTube by itself as ASMR.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mike.
but so Sephiroth is standing there and he's between two of the cloaked clones, and he says, "This is the end for all of you." And then he takes out his sword and swipes across and
Fucking
just like,
kills these two dudes.
yeah, like we were talking about how they're like just going like where they're like being drawn to or whatever, and how like they're kind of just falling off the cliff because their motor skills aren't all there. But like Sephiroth is like, you would think he has some like
Grand
reason
plan
for them,
for them?
to be there, and he's just like, nah, fuck you guys, and like just slices them.
Right.
And then Cloud storms in and says, "This is the end." Also,
Yeah, he says, Sephiroth, this is the end.
Yeah, this is the end, yep.
Yeah, and then Sephiroth says something pretty interesting. He says, "You're right."
Yes.
he says, "Change to disc 3."
He says, "You're right. This is the end of this body's usefulness." And then he's just gone.
Fucking vanishes.
Yeah.
And Cloud says
Screen
so much.
turns all red.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
it's so crazy.
This section's super creepy. I forgot about
Yeah.
this.
Oh
part.
yeah, this is where we're getting real good.
Tifa says he might still be nearby.
Yeah.
And then you get like
The
some,
lighting changes, and there's like these spires of like purple smoke coming out of the path a little bit.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
camera just starts panning up and down, like it's just feverishly like looking for him.
Yeah.
And Cloud can move around during this, and while no one else is, it's kind of it's super eerie.
It is
Yeah.
it's
It's just like,
very
where
weird.
is he?
Yeah, and then that white text comes over the screen again, and it just says, "Our purpose is to deliver the black materia to our master."
And Cloud just says "our
Yeah. ... And like, I get like, Cloud's the only one who heard that because Barrett is just like still in the situation. He's just like, he got away, and like Cloud was just like out of nowhere, just like "our," and like Barrett like wasn't even paying attention. It was just like an offhand.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, Sephiroth got away."
And then the text pops up that says "those who carry Genova's cells."
Yeah, and
And then
Cloud
Cloud says "master." ...
Yeah. Yeah, and then the white text comes up again and it says, "Of course, ... Sephiroth."
And then fucking Sephiroth appears right in front of the camera, facing the
Yeah.
party.
Right after that, it says he.
Yeah,
and
it
then
does say that.
Sephiroth appears.
Yeah, and he just fucking like descends down and in one swipe just takes out the whole fucking party.
Yeah.
Well, knocks them down at least.
Yeah, he doesn't like cut them. He just like
It's not an Eris
weird.
moment.
Yeah, it's just like he like triple fist like boom like hits all of them in the face.
Because it did make me panic. Because the next thing that happens, I was like, "Shit, am I alone in this?"
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And as soon as you hear that whap, because it is like a whap sound, it sounds like we just got punched in the face.
Yeah.
He's like, whenever he deals with us, he has like the weirdest like methods of trying to hurt us or whatever. Like he throws a materia at us and shit
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, there was one time where he was pretty effective with it.
That's fair enough. Well, it almost looks like he's getting ready to do that again because he appears in the air.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, oh shit. Like
It's
he's
his
getting ready-
finisher.
Yeah. But instead he just like slaps everybody and everybody falls down. But
go
we
wiffle
go
bat.
Yeah, we go right into a boss battle.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah,
part,
he kinda- he
part
kinda-
3. Sorry.
He kind of like walks ahead a little bit and like puts his arms out the way he kind of has been doing, and he's still holding his sword and
Yeah.
stuff, and then he kind of just flies away, I think, or disappears again. And now we get another boss fight.
That's right. And it's part 3 of this
It's Genova
I was gonna
Death.
say-
Nova love.
I was gonna say trio, that's not right. Trilogy.
Yeah.
That's the one I wanted. Yeah, Genova Death.
Hell yeah.
Yikes.
Which I never noticed before, Alex. They are getting larger each time we fight them.
Oh, holy
I
shit,
did
yeah.
not notice that.
Yeah, it's not just a color swap. Like the models are definitely getting much bigger.
Yeah, I thought it was a color swap all the time. And then when you mentioned that, Alex, last time, I was like, oh, Genova Life is a lot bigger, and Genova Death is even bigger.
It's like, just triple in size. It's like, I don't know, 5. I think Cloud is maybe like 1/5 of its total height, maybe
Yeah.
1/6.
Yeah, it's kind of towering over everyone.
Oh yeah, it's got a crazy like protruding face on this one too, with like little jowls and
it's got like a pulsating like yellow
heart thing.
Yeah,
an organ.
Like
Don't
it's
like
like
that.
torso. It's
And the general color of it too is very dark. It looks like either like burnt or rotten or something like that.
yeah, it's like greenish and kind of like blends in a little bit with like the background of this
Oh,
area
yeah.
and stuff. Like it's more
Which
like
I'd say it's Genova death, so I imagine it like okay, it's like rotting. Or
yeah.
it's,
Ugh.
yeah.
What
it's
does
gross.
Genova death smell like?
Mm.
Old
So
salami.
Rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Exactly.
I think there's one important thing to talk about in this boss battle about Genova death, which is that fucking Neo Bahamut summon, baby.
Hell yeah, Giga Flare.
So good.
He's a badass
Yo.
demon dragon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mike, you brought it up originally. Do you want to tell us about it?
Like it, the original Bahamut was like this like badass looking dragon thing, and then someone in the design department was like, but what if the same thing but cooler and more wings? Like we can just add additional wing pieces to it, right? And like why doesn't it like lift something up into the sky and then disintegrate that? Like I remember them talking about like the Titan summon. They
Yeah.
were like really proud of being able to make the ground flip, and it's like, but let's just do that again, but just shoot it up into fucking like the stratosphere.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the way Bahamut descends on the enemy while it's in the stratosphere and just like fucking Kamehameha Dragon Ball Z's it.
It's super anime too, where it's just like a portion of like the battlefield is just lifted up into the sky and then like disintegrated with this like blast and stuff.
I like that. Like when it lifts up into the sky too, like all the clouds part.
Yeah, it's like
It's nice to get some sunlight in this moody crater.
That's right. Yeah.
it's pretty cool here in this fight too, because it's Neo Bahamut is like red and kind of more like not mechanical looking.
I was
but
gonna say. I was getting ready to say it looks like a fucking Gundam.
it looks way more like a mech. So like I was looking at it, and I think every time we've fought Genova, when I tried to like explain it, I just said it looks like Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
So this it just looks like Asuka's Ava unit is just attacking.
Yeah, it looks
angel.
like
I'm
Unit 2 with wings.
Yeah,
like,
fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of wings on that.
I can't wait to the part where Cloud and Tifa have to dance to get better at killing Genova. They play DDR.
That's so good.
I found
What'd you say the other day, Alex? You were like, get in the tiny Bronco or someone will have to fight.
Bronco said, so Cloud will have to.
Yeah, Cloud will have to do it again.
I accidentally came across a sexy Neo Bahamut illustration.
Oh boy.
Well,
Oh no.
you done it now.
He's like, I'm just gonna go ahead and bookmark this for later,
Just-
Also,
for research purposes.
does anybody remember? I don't remember this, but so this Genova uses exclusively fire attacks, and
Right.
the one before Genova Life used water attacks. Did Genova Birth use exclusively lightning attacks?
Could be.
Because they used W laser.
I remember Genova Life, the one from in Shinra Building. Was that the one?
I don't
no,
think-
because there's the boat.
The boat.
The boat is Birth.
Birth.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Birth
birth
was
one
the
is what you're
second
talking about,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Birth and water.
No, Life did water, which is when Eris died.
Yeah.
Birth. What did Birth do?
Did it have Trine?
Inflicts physical damage.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Shoot.
Yeah, there you go.
No, wait, no. It's gravity.
Does it have any other attacks
gravity.
or anything?
Oh, no, sorry. It is a shoot. Is the I guess it's a type of shooting physical damage.
Oh, okay. Does it have any other moves besides the lasers?
There's laser, W laser, and what was the else? Sorry,
Trine. No, I don't think it does Trine.
Trine.
gas,
Gas.
tail laser,
Nice.
and stop.
Okay, well, no lightning. Never mind then.
So no.
This will remain a mystery.
FF7 is garbage. Just no one's said it again.
Midgar
No
seemed,
consistency.
Yeah.
No.
that boat seems so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
seriously.
It really does when we went to the new continent.
The new
Yeah.
continent that Cloud was born on.
Yeah. So the oh wait, you know what, Carl? I take back what I said earlier because I always take a screenshot of my victory screens
Yeah.
to see what I got and everything. As of this battle, I also have a mastered all materia. So
Oh,
there we go.
hell yeah.
Nice.
We also get the reflect ring
Yeah.
for winning this one.
Which
Oh, yeah,
it just
go ahead.
automatically sets up reflect on your characters, so that if they get hit with a magic thing, it'll just go back.
Yeah.
on something
Bounce
else.
back.
Which can be really good, or it can suck because if it's something using like fire magic and it absorbs fire
Yeah,
magic and it
that's
uses
true.
a heavy one on you, then it just heals.
It heals it, yeah. So that battle got me all tuckered out. I'm thinking I might need to retire for a little while and
Yeah.
come back here in a bit. What do you guys think?
I think that's a good place to
Sounds good.
to take a break.
Oh yeah, take a Sneep. Did I say sneep?
Sneep. We take a little sneep.
Sneep.
Sneep away.
All right, so we're back.
We're in my favorite Joaquin Phoenix film, The Master.
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 All right. Actually, wait a minute. That's actually relevant to what we're talking about
Yes.
right now as well.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I was like, I don't know what Alex is talking about, but I really enjoy it. Right? Yeah. So as soon as we get out of this fight, we don't go back to the screen we were on. We're kind of like at a different camera angle of that bridge, right?
Yeah.
Bridge.
And all of our party is there. Like everybody's, like even the people we didn't bring with us, they're all like standing around. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the rendezvous has happened.
Yeah. The rendezvous.
Our
The
party.
pre-reunion rendezvous.
Yeah, the pre-union. And Cloud just says Genova's cells ... So that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Which I know I say this a lot, but like that's just another thing that I was like, yeah, man. I mean, that's
Yeah.
we've been talking about that for a while now.
I
Like,
kind of knew about that, yeah. And they're all kind of standing there. It's like whoever you have in your party and Cloud are standing at like the topmost part of this cliff, and everyone else is behind you. And in front of you is a strange little like black like crystal looking thing that's
Yeah.
kind of like hovering up and down, and it has like a shine to it
Yep.
and stuff.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
I was looking at that. I was like, what is that? Like
I know. I couldn't think of what it was either until I picked it
I
up.
think it was the black material, right? Just because,
Yeah.
but when we saw only had a point on top, this one has a point on top, like a snake cone, ice cream cone.
Yeah. It's
This
not.
one-
It's not
this one's
round
like
like the rest of the materia in the game.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's like a diamond shape.
Right.
Yeah.
And Cloud says the Genova reunion. And Tifa says, not Sephiroth. You mean this whole time it wasn't Sephiroth we've been after? And I think what's going on here is like we were talking about Genova last episode.
Yeah.
That Genova can shapeshift.
Yeah.
And so like Sephiroth's never been around. We've
Yeah.
never been chasing Sephiroth.
The
It wasn't
entire game.
the entire
Yeah,
game. We've never seen him.
And
It's-
that's solidified here. Like there's evidence of it right here, what we're about to talk about. And
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
excited because I've like remembered that from my previous playthroughs.
Yeah.
And like anytime we talked about Genova, I was like biting my tongue to be
I
like,
know.
we
No,
had
I know.
On one of the episodes, like you and I had a whole discussion about like the implications of like Sephiroth being on the boat or something like that.
Yeah,
Was that
yeah,
and I was like, I think I know what I'm gonna like. I think I know exactly what's going on,
Well,
but I'm not gonna talk about it.
I know,
Like,
and
I'm
I've
finally
been
talking
trying to
about
like say things about it in such a way of like if you were like me or the listener or whatever, like you might think this way about it, even though I knew like where it was gonna go. So I was trying to like piece together things like as you might if you hadn't played the game before,
the old-
without trying to give away what was going on.
Yeah, and it's also like it's just such a something that you really want to talk about,
yeah.
and like we have all this like conjecture over it and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, we actually know what's going on.
Because
but,
remember,
like,
the first time we see Sephiroth is right literally the scene after Genova's broken out of its cage.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, Genova broke out of the cage, and Sephiroth returned.
Yeah.
These two entirely unrelated things happening at once. Goodness.
Yeah.
There was never Sephiroth.
and it's like
It was Genova the whole time.
and it's like the whole reason about that. Like we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but like it's basically like what we're coming up to on here. But
This whole time, we just thought that Genova and Sephiroth were just holding hands,
yeah,
skipping along.
so-
Right,
Skipping
right.
along.
I mean,
and
like-
I've said it
darkness.
multiple times. Like when we beat the Genova life things or whatever, we always like a tentacle of Genova's is left around afterwards and shit like
Yeah.
that. And like,
Ew.
why does it keep like leaving parts of Genova? But it was Genova.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And-
what?
yeah, and like the other thing about it too is it's like you might just like I think the way you're supposed to like interpret it at first is like, oh, okay, Sephiroth appeared first and broke Genova out, and all of this stuff.
And I think they
Right.
say that they
yeah,
deliver
like
it to
that's
you that
just
way.
kind of like what you expect because you're like, oh, it makes sense. He's trying to get Genova, like back to power or whatever, and like
His mother.
his mother,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like so all along you're like, okay, Sephiroth is in it to help Genova, and now it's just like blowing the shit wide open.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
my god,
So-
what a good fucking reveal.
So continuing on after Tifa says not Sephiroth, you mean the whole time it wasn't Sephiroth we've been after? Cloud says, I'll explain later. Right now the only thing I'm thinking about is beating Sephiroth. And then Tifa says, but Sephiroth is ... And then Cloud says, he's here. The real Sephiroth is just beyond here. It's both incredibly wicked and cruel, but it's releasing a powerfully strong will from deep within the planet's wound.
Also, I like that fucking Cloud just starts referring to Sephiroth as it.
Yeah.
for here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's pretty brutal. And then you pick up the little spiky thing, and it's like you said, the black materia.
Yep. We received that key item again.
Yeah, it's just like the keystone. Like lose the keystone, find the keystone. Lose the
Yeah.
black materia, find the black materia.
Exactly. So yeah, and Cloud picks it up and he says, "The black materia is back in our hands. Now all we have to do is defeat Sephiroth, and that'll be the end of it." And then Tifa kind of continues on and she says, "We'd better not take the black materia any further. Why don't you give it to someone else to hold on to?"
Which is a smart idea.
Yeah, because we remember what happened the last time Cloud had the
exactly
black materia.
And then so how many people can you give the black materia to? Because all your party
Literally
members,
I think
one.
it's just
Two.
Barrett and Red 13.
yeah, Barrett, you can give it to Barrett.
Oh, really?
I tried giving
Yeah.
to Barrett.
I guess because Barrett was in my party, I couldn't. Because I talked to Barrett
right.
here. I talked to everyone here, and Barrett said, "Sephiroth, what a damn crazy zoink." And then when you talk to the other members of the party, like Yuffie will say, "I don't want anything to do with that black materia."
Right.
Kate Sis says, "No, not the black materia, please."
Yeah. Sid just said, "Who boy,
Hoo boy.
who boy," and I like how if you try to give it to Vincent, he just goes, "How about you hold on to the black materia?"
Yeah. Yeah, and when I
thanks.
talked to Sid, he said, "Me and black materia just don't mix."
Yeah.
Try it once, no thanks.
Yeah,
I guess maybe that's why you couldn't give it to Barrett, Alex, because when I tried to give it to Sid, he didn't give me that dialogue. He just gave me "who boy." So maybe if someone is in your party, if they're one of the people who
they'll
can
have
take
different
it,
dialogue.
maybe
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Maybe
Right.
so.
So for me and Alex, the only option that we had was Red 13.
And I gave it to Red as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you go up to him and it says, "Give him the black materia," and you say yes, and then Red will say, "You want me to take the black materia? All right, I understand."
I love Red so much.
He's so good.
He's like so fucking
Very
trustworthy.
dependable.
Yeah,
Very
I
good,
know.
Very good boy.
He is. And Cloud says, "Don't give it to anyone."
Yeah.
All caps.
I'm counting on you.
Yep.
Under no circumstances should you give this black materia to anyone.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm counting on you here, Red.
Well, I mean, look, in his defense,
No,
we'll
I
get there. We'll
agree.
get there.
And he says, "Cloud, be careful." And then you can kind of talk to everyone again, and Kate Sith will say, like, "Oh, it feels really weird here."
I didn't get any of this dialogue.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so, and Yuffie says, "Shouldn't we hurry? The real Sephiroth is still close, right?" Vincent says, "You never know when Sephiroth might show up, so don't let your guard down." Oh my god, this is good. I didn't even realize. I kind of was just taking screenshots and not actually reading them.
Sid says, "Let me catch some shut eye."
Sid's done.
Well,
You just
It's like we
snap
got most of the mission handled now.
you know what? Being also 32, I feel like, I totally understand that.
It's like
Hell
my
yeah.
back hurts. We just climbed a mountain.
Yeah,
fought,
yeah.
monster. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's just not.
Yeah, and then so you get ready to go to like the next screen, and Cloud says, "We're going in first. You guys stay and keep watch." So
Yeah.
you continue on. Red is kind of standing back. There's a weird instance here where now like we have control over Cloud again. Like we don't see the rest of the party other than Red and Cloud, and there's a yellow materia item that we can get. And you go
Yes.
up and pick it up, and it's an MP Turbo. And the reason that that's weird is because that's actually like the blue materia. Like when you're in your
Oh,
menu,
it's actually
not
a blue
It's
material.
not,
It's not a
sub-
command material.
Yeah, it's
You're
not a
right.
command material. It's
I didn't
the,
even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, so I think that's the only time I've noticed so far in the game that's happened. That's
Yeah.
a weird.
Just wrong color.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. I never noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also you can go back and talk to Nanaki.
I'll protect the black materia no matter what.
Yeah.
God, he's so good.
Yeah, famous last words, right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Carl. I think this is going to go swimmingly.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, don't come in this room. What are you here?
Yeah.
You also can get the poison ring here.
Yeah, yeah. Which,
So it's just a chest off the side that you can just go grab real quick. Which, guess what that does? Oh, it drains poison.
yeah, it protects against poison and it also drains poison, which is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Which I was like, it would be cool if it was like a reverse poison. You still get the poison status, but it like turns
Heals
into
you or
yeah,
something.
it
like
heals
that.
you each time. That'd be
Kind
cool.
of does that, but not.
I guess
not,
so. Not exactly like
exactly,
that though.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we have one more of these fucking wind puzzles.
Yeah, and this one is like the
Brutal.
hardest of them all, and it also has like a little bit of a different like texture palette where there's like a thing of lightning that shoots down
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
strikes where you're trying to walk through, which I was trying to actually walk through and get hit by that lightning, and I don't think it changes anything if you do.
Oh, okay. So I'm kind of like looking, like when you're playing the game, a lot of times you'll be concentrating on what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
But now that we're doing the podcast and we can see our screenshots, I'm just kind of like looking at it. What's interesting is it seems like you can actually see the end of the path coming up here on it. Like there's like a smaller impact like crater, like a tiny crater that this bridge is leading into, it looks like. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it seems like some of the wind like past the wind wall is like maybe not even there, like the fog and everything. Like it's like, you know, like the eye of a hurricane is like silent. It seems like we might be getting ready to like walk into the eye of a hurricane. Like we've been through this whole giant maelstrom and now we're just getting ready to go to this like dead place, you know?
Yep, it's getting real heavy. Before we move on to that, though, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention where there's these like big dragon enemies that I think were like in the like Gaea cliff or whatever it was called, like the first area that we were in, that they're not that difficult. They're just giant like blue dragons and stuff.
Are they the flying ones?
No, they're kind of like the red dragon that Sephiroth fought in the one flashback and stuff. It's just a different like color
I did
palette.
not even see one.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
didn't see one either.
Yeah, it's more or less like the same sort of fight. It's a little easier because we're more like level appropriate fighting this thing.
Yeah.
But the nice thing that you can do is actually steal a dragon armlet from it, which is like a pretty good. There's also one of the enemies that we fought. I think Schizo was
Dropped the dragon fang.
I think it drops the dragon armlet. So
It dropped the dragon fang for me.
weird.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a drop that can
maybe it
happen.
depends
or something.
on like which head you kill first or something. Yeah.
But there was
Probably.
it's funny too because this is something that I don't think we've brought up on the podcast at all. But after you beat an enemy and it drops something, it brings up a screen showing that it drops everything. And like if you just kind of mash A through it, and you can say take everything, or if there's a lot of things, you can choose what to take.
Yeah.
Or you can just hit exit and not take it at all. So it drops it and you just walk. So the first time I was like going through, like there was something nice that the dragon dropped that I wanted to like take, and I just completely like
Oh no!
I beefed it and just continued on without taking it. I was like, shit, now I gotta like fight.
Oh no!
So it might be good to go and try and steal those armlets because they're pretty good.
Fair enough. All right.
Right on. And now back into the important shit.
Yo, so we don't even get a screen transition to the next screen, right?
Yeah.
Like once we pass the wind wall, everything just flashes white, and we get like a whoosh, like sound effect, you know?
Yeah.
And Tifa's dialogue pops open and says, "What is this? What happened?"
Yeah.
And Cloud says, "Calm down, Tifa." And like this whole scene that we're getting ready to come up with, I feel like Cloud's in the fucking zone, right? Like he's like ready to be doing some ass kicking, and so he's just like, "I'm ready for fucking anything." Maybe to his detriment coming up, but like,
yeah, he's definitely like eye on the prize, like just like not gonna let anything like stop him.
right? Yeah, he has one mission in mind, and nothing else matters, right?
Yep.
He says, "Calm down, Tifa. Sephiroth is near. Anything could happen."
Yeah, and then we flash to
The fucking the flash lightens up, and instead of being on the fucking mountain, we're in the
Nibelheim.
entrance of Nibelheim. Or Nibelheim, yeah.
Yeah, so Cloud is walking into Nibelheim, and then behind him come Barrett and Tifa, and they kind of walk in front of him. And Tifa says, "Nibelheim." And Barrett goes, "Why Nibelheim? Are you high on Mako or something?"
What? Does he really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So is that implying that he like thinks that Cloud is high on Mako and like led them to Nibelheim or something like that? Like, why bring us here, you idiot?
Yeah, like I don't know who he's
Like
saying that
who's he
to.
saying? Who's that saying that to?
Because he's
How does he think being high works?
It's like you being high made me think I'm a Nibelheim.
yeah, but he's looking like at Tifa, so it's almost like that's a response to Tifa, which is weird. But yeah, and then Cloud kind of like is making sense of this, like the only way that kind of makes sense, and he says, "This is an illusion Sephiroth made up. He's trying to confuse us. It'll be all right as long as we know it's an illusion. There's nothing to be afraid of. Come on, let's keep going."
Yeah.
And then
Famous
Tifa's
last words.
yeah, exactly.
So many of those.
Yeah, and Tifa says, "Yeah, you're right." And then she says, "Look." And
Oh, this is so fucking wild.
they all kind of spread out, and then walking towards Nibelheim is Sephiroth.
And it's like he doesn't even see them. Like
Yeah.
Sephiroth doesn't even see the party, right?
Yeah, and he turns around and looks towards like where the camera's facing, and he says, "All right, let's go."
Which, at that point, we can see that it's actually replaying the flashback at Calm.
Yeah.
Way earlier in the game, where like we got off the truck and then we come into Nibelheim and
It's the
Sephiroth turns
exact
around.
same thing.
Deja
And he says,
vu,
"All
man.
right, let's go." And he says it exactly the same,
Yeah.
right?
And
Oh,
the
I
t-
can't
and-
wait to see them work on their moves.
Oh yeah. And so the two Shinra like police start walking in.
Same as it happened the first
exactly the
time.
same
Same
thing.
as it ever was.
Nothing different at all. Then last time this happened, Cloud walked in,
Right.
This time, Barrett says, that ain't Cloud. The hell is he? And someone who has a Buster Sword has Cloud's outfit. Everything is the same, except he's got real spiky black hair.
Yeah. So I had Sid, and Sid just goes, Cloud's not here.
Yeah.
So similar thing. But yeah, so it's exactly the same scene, except
It's not
instead of
Cloud.
Cloud, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tifa says, stop, Sephiroth.
Ooh.
And then it kind of keeps going on, and Cloud's like, this is stupid.
I know. I love that. I love that response because like multiple people during like multiple points of the game, when something serious will happen, will be like, "This is dumb," and
Yeah.
they'll walk on.
Cloud's like, dude, he's just trying to confuse us. This is stupid. This trick isn't going to work on us. Like, we just got to keep going. We got to get after Sephiroth.
Right.
Don't let him fucking do anything that will throw us off.
This guy looks like young Goku,
Oh, yeah.
whoever this is.
He does. Yeah, he looks like teen Gohan when he's got the long hair.
Yeah.
Same outfit and everything.
Yep.
But then they all disappear, and we kind of have agency over Cloud again. And I went up and talked to Barrett, and he said, how the hell are we going to get out of here? And then when I talked to Tifa, she said, Cloud, it's just an illusion. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then the screen flashes white.
Yeah.
Again, and Cloud just goes, "What's next?"
Yep.
Like he's like real
It's
over
like,
it.
God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which I
Big
mean,
yuppie
like,
energy.
I feel like to Cloud's credit, right? Like he's
Yeah.
because like any time prior to this, he may not have been in like the headspace to deal with it.
Yeah.
And like he's like focused, you know what I mean? He's like, what's next? This is stupid, you know.
Hell yeah.
But Tifa is obviously bothered by it because as soon as he says that, she yells out, "Stop it already!"
Yeah, which is like kind of wild because like you would think like Sephiroth is doing this to fuck with Cloud. Like Cloud is always the one who's like kind of like not necessarily the weakest link, but like there's been so many points where Cloud has like, not all been there and weird things happened, and like so it seems like Sephiroth is just trying to do this to like get at Cloud, and Cloud's not affected at it by it at all. He's like, nope, like this isn't.
Right.
But then Tifa says, stop it already. And then it starts kind of phasing in again. And Barrett says, this is bad, just like Quail.
Yeah, and we fade up into the scene where Sephiroth has burned Nibelheim, right?
Yeah.
So like the whole town is on fire.
It's the camera down view when Cloud would normally have gone and like into the different buildings
Yeah. And
and to rescue or try to rescue other people.
walks out of his mom's house and does that like head shake. And
Yeah.
The head shake.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool too that like Barrett is finally seeing it and kind of sees the similarities.
Oh,
to,
that's
like,
true. I
What
didn't even
happened.
think about that.
Mhm.
You're right.
Because before that, it was just like he had heard the story or whatever, but was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
now it's kind of he's reliving it through like Cloud's eyes or whatever, and it's just
Yeah.
like, kind of shaken up by it. He's like,
Yeah.
this is really bad. This is the same exact.
Oh yeah,
thing
Barrett says this is bad like Coral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just like Coral.
Cloud says, "This is what actually happened 5 years ago."
Yeah.
But it's probably not me that will come out of that Shinra mansion. So he like knows. He saw
Yeah.
the thing from before, and he was like, "Oh, he's just gonna have somebody else come out."
Yeah, he says he's going to try and
Another
show us an.
stupid illusion.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And sure enough, he's right.
Yeah.
Like that same individual with all of Cloud's gear and Cloud's sword with the black hair runs out instead, and Cloud just says, "See, didn't I tell you?"
Yeah.
But that scene still plays out the same.
Yeah.
Like the soldier with the black hair runs into town center. That guy is Zangan, who is in the middle of town.
Tifa's martial arts instructor.
Right. He says, "Hey, it's you. You're still sane, right?" Just like
Just like he
did.
said to Cloud.
Exactly. And that all plays out the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tifa says, "I don't want to watch this. Cloud, don't watch."
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, oh man.
So and yeah, like it's like we were saying, it plays out the exact same way. Zangan says, "I'll check this house. You check the other one over there." And he goes into the one house. There's
Zach
two
runs
other
into-
guys laying on the ground. There's
Yeah.
like one of like the Shinra soldiers
And
and,
the
the photographer
yeah.
that, if we remember from when this all happened the last time we saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Cloud says, "What's wrong, Tifa? I told you before, right? As long as we know that it's just an illusion, there's no need to be scared." And then it flashes white again, and now we're kind of like in the town square of Nibelheim, like right
yeah,
near
it's the
where
same scene, but just like the camera's
it's,
a lot
yeah,
closer.
We're a
this
lot
time.
closer.
Like we're getting ready to like, yeah.
I think this is a new screen for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't
For the
actually
game, yeah.
appear
We
the
didn't-
last time, but we're still in like the same scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It's, I think this is a new background. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Barrett goes up to the photographer laying there and he says, "Hey, you all right?"
Yes, it
Damn.
does the same.
Damn, this was an illusion. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
it does the exact same thing.
yeah, he's not hearing him at all.
Cloud says, "Sephiroth, I know that you're listening. I know what you want to say. That I wasn't in Nibelheim 5 years ago. That's it, isn't it?" And then Sephiroth appears to us again, which I suppose is either an illusion or
Yeah, or who the fuck
Genova.
knows at this point.
Yeah, who knows? And Sephiroth says, I see you finally understand.
Yeah.
And Cloud goes, what you're trying to say is that you want to confuse me, right? So which, like...
Aha! Your scheme.
Yeah, your
has been
scheme has
foiled.
failed. But even making me see those things won't affect me. I remember it all. The heat of the fire, the pain in my body and in my heart. And Sephiroth goes, oh, is that so? You're just a puppet. You have no heart and cannot feel any pain.
Yeah, so he's
Which
saying
is-
that again.
Yeah.
You're a puppet.
Real reminiscent of when we fought Genova Life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He says, how can there be any meaning in the memory of such a being? What I've shown you is reality. What you remember, that's the illusion.
Oof.
Oh, and then...
Cloud kind of, I think he shrugs here,
Yeah.
which is good. He's just shrugging
He's
it
like
off.
real baller.
His shrug animation is always so like non-committal. It's like,
Yeah.
meh.
Yeah, I know. It's the most,
It's
like,
a
it's
living.
sassy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a living.
And you can talk to your party members here, and they just say Cloud. You know.
Yeah.
Sephiroth says, do you understand? And Cloud says, I don't want to understand, but I want to ask you one thing. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Which is similar to understanding, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care why
But
you're doing
please
this,
tell
but
me
why
why.
are you doing this? Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of turns around and puts his hand to his head in like one of those animations that he always does, and Sephiroth is behind him. Then Sephiroth just disappears and reappears, like standing like far off in front of Cloud next to like Barrett,
Yeah.
and he's just
Yeah, I like
laughing.
he appears like he disappears, appears right next to Sid, and I like Sid's like real freaked out, and he's like, oh shit, and he runs behind Cloud.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, oh no.
It's like, fuck that.
Yeah, I know, dude. I love Sid because like he's in it for the adventure, but like not necessarily
Not
always
too much adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much adventure.
There's like a threshold, and once you get over that, then it's like, I need to smoke and just kind of go off to the side.
Yeah, go
I need to
take a
get some
nap.
shut eye.
Yeah,
He's like, I should be in space right now. God damn
yeah,
it.
I know. Well, yeah.
I don't wanna
Why
be on
couldn't
this planet
Sephiroth take us
anymore.
there?
And he just ends up on Mars.
Nap anywhere, anytime he wants.
Sephiroth says, I want to take you back to your real self, the one who gave me the black materia that day. Who would ever have thought a failed experiment would prove so useful? Hojo would die if he knew.
Yeah.
And I
Wish he
love it.
would.
Yeah.
If only that were so.
And this is like, you know, Cloud's reaction here. He says, Hojo, what does he have to do with me? And I think that is the first time that we've like been like, whoa.
Yeah, wait,
what's
what?
Hojo's connection with
Yeah,
Cloud?
wait, what's going on with Hojo? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sephiroth says, 5 years ago, you were ... constructed by Hojo, piece by piece, right after Nibelheim was burnt. And then he says, a puppet made up of vibrant Genova cells, her knowledge, and the power of the Mako. An incomplete Sephiroth clone, not even given a number. That is your reality.
Ooh. And what's weird is like Cloud doesn't have a response. You're just in control of Cloud now.
Cloud just shrugs again.
Yeah. And you can. So I went and talked to Tifa, and she says, Cloud, don't listen to him. Cover your ears and close your eyes.
Yeah.
And Cloud goes, well, what's wrong? I'm not affected by it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention to him.
Listening.
Wait, what was
God.
that dude saying?
Yeah. And then Tifa says, all that talk of Hojo constructing you is a lie. Don't we have our memories together? Being kids together, starlit nights.
Yeah, and then Sephiroth
oh.
starts laughing. He says,
And this is like
"Ha."
the first time Sephiroth has talked to anybody but Cloud, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, he's never addressed any of our other party members.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
says,
he's straight up like, Tifa, why are you worried? Why are you scared about this? huh?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He
exactly.
challenges her. He's like, what's wrong?
yeah.
He says, shall I show everyone here what's in your heart? And she turns around and he goes, haha, you don't look well.
Yeah, and she's like, at this point, like after he says all of that, like, I'll show everyone what's in your heart, she turns around.
Right,
And
yeah.
like is the only one here who's affected by it.
Right. And like, and actually, I think starting here too, Cloud goes, Tifa, is Sephiroth right? Like, because
Yeah.
it's one thing to be like, you know, your adversary is saying something and you're like, well, fuck that guy. He's going to say whatever, you know. But when somebody close to you
When
is
your
like,
when your homie's like, oh man, like
yeah, then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a second.
yeah, because Cloud's like, I'm not affected by this. This is just a cheap trick. And Tifa's like, don't listen to him, Cloud. Don't listen. Just like close your eyes, like cover your ears, like just don't listen.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's
real
almost
low.
like she's kind of saying that to Cloud, but also to herself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she doesn't want to know something.
Yeah.
Um,
One real quick thing here that I noticed that's kind of goofy. The photographer who's like still laying on the ground here. I think they meant to have him just like with his eyes open, just because he's not like, you know, he's supposed to be dead or whatever. But he still blinks. But even better than that, only one eye blinks. So he's just
So
sitting there
weird.
like winking a couple of
I was
times.
gonna
And
bring
like,
that up too.
and right at the camera too. Now that I'm looking at it, he's like looking right at the camera. He's just winking like
He's waiting for his moment.
Yeah.
I
It's like
tried.
it's all gonna pay off, baby.
Sephiroth fucking with the camera. He's just like,
Yeah. and this is where the photographer gets up and kills Sephiroth.
Yeah.
That whole setup was for this one moment.
Hell yeah. So anyway, then Cloud says to Tifa, he says, "Why are you so scared? Don't worry about me. I'm all right. No matter how confused I am, I'll never believe a word that Sephiroth says. It's true that sometimes I can't figure out who I am. There's a lot of things muddled up in my memories. But Tifa, you said long time no see, Cloud, right? Those words always support me. I am the one who you grew up with. I'm Cloud of Nibelheim. No matter how much I lose faith in myself, that is the truth. That's why you shouldn't be so scared. No matter what anyone else says to me, it's your opinion that counts."
And then she has the weirdest response too. She
Yeah.
says, "No, that's not true, Cloud."
Yeah, and he says,
Like,
"Why not?"
Which part?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
yeah. It was
That's
like,
kind of a loaded
says-
statement there, Tifa.
He says, "What's not? Aren't I the same
Oh, yeah.
Cloud you grew up with?"
yeah.
yeah.
And she says, "That's not what I mean. I don't know how to say it. Cloud, I need some time. Just give me some little time.
I know. And
Give
then
me a little
like,
time.
Some
I
little
love that
time.
like
we all need
give me a
some
little-
little time.
Just give me a little time."
right. And like, so Sephiroth starts talking here, and like again, like I feel like it's weird to me to hear him address different people in the party because
Yeah.
he's always just been on like these like monologues that like it almost doesn't matter. He's like Dio, like from the Gold Saucer, and that like even if you walked away, you'd imagine he's just like still talking and raving or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
and a
like-
lot of times too, he was talking, but not necessarily even to anyone in our party. Just kind of like talking to himself and walking on, and
Yeah.
and being like,
Like
"Oh, he's not
narrating
addressing
his
it."
own grand journey. Or
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. But he says, "Cloud, don't blame Tifa. The ability to change one's looks, voice, and words is the power of Genova.
Boom.
Ooh, inside of you, Genova has merged with Tifa's memories, creating you."
Fucked up.
Oh my god.
So messed up.
I know.
Yeah.
He says, out of Tifa's memory, a boy named Cloud might have just been a part of them. Like, oh.
And this is where, yeah, this is just like kind of a punch in the gut where you're just like, what is actually happening?
What the fuck is actually happening right now?
Yeah.
So they implying that the young Cloud that she remembers is the real Cloud, but the Cloud he is
Right.
now is like made of
Something
a
created
construct
by-
of her memories, maybe his memories, and like
And
kind of-
Genova's power.
Yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
this other soldier. Well, I'll pretend not to know his name.
Yeah.
This other soldier, just like, make it as an amalgamation.
This other himbo.
Yeah, he hasn't been named in this sequence, correct?
correct.
No,
correct.
no. I don't think we put together his name until like the
Much
end
later.
of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. Like, so we're kind of trying to say that he's like Cloud is a amalgamation of all these memories
Right.
to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
for some greater purpose.
And since Genova's like Sephiroth's just saying there, like the thing that we know about Genova is that it like shapeshifts. It can, if Fallen says it sounded like our dead mothers and brothers or whatever.
Yeah.
That's its whole thing that it can do is
Very the thing.
yeah, John Carpenter's that
So,
thing.
yeah, it's so the thing.
Yeah. So basically, there's like a person who was created to have those abilities and chose to use them on Tifa's memories and like take over that life.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Right. And Tifa says, "Cloud, please don't think right now."
Yeah.
And like as Sephiroth goes, "Ha ha, think, Cloud." Yeah.
Made you think.
Yeah, made you think. He says, "Cloud, oh, excuse me, you never had a name."
It's like at the end of Ghostbusters when they're like, the first thing that you think of, that's what I'm going to use to like create and destroy you all. And they're all like, don't think. And they think of the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. Yeah, but so Sephiroth says, "Cloud, ha ha ha. Oh, excuse me, you never had a name."
Yeah, I know,
Like,
it's so fucked.
yeah.
He says, "You still don't understand. Well then, do you remember that picture we took before we headed to Mount Nebel?"
Yeah, and like right after that though, like Cloud does say, "Shut up, Sephiroth."
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Got him.
got him.
What a critical own. He's like, "Yeah, you're totally made up. You don't have a real name. Your friends don't even know if you're real
Yeah.
or not."
Hey,
and then
hey, guess what?
Hey,
Shut up.
Jerk face.
Yeah,
takes one to know one.
You fathead. Yeah.
You wingnut.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that the other day. I was trying to think what does fucking Reno say? You fucking wingnut.
You wingnut.
yeah. You wingnut.
Yeah, but so anyway, Sephiroth brought up the picture.
Yeah, and he says, "Tifa, you remember right? but there's no way that he would know.
Yeah.
Now, what happened to that picture? And he looks around and sees the photographer on the ground and says, "Is this it? Do you want to see it? It turned out pretty good."
I love that. Where
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
compliments to this dead photographer.
Yeah, I know. So good. Tifa says, "Cloud, don't." And Cloud says, "I should be in the picture.
Yeah.
But even if I'm not there, no worry. This is just an illusory world that Sephiroth made up." And then we get to see the
We
picture.
see the picture.
The
And-
picture looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. It's got Tifa's got her awesome cowboy outfit on and,
Yeah.
and everything that we saw.
Yeehaw.
And
Yeah.
and I do like to do a tiny itty bitty sidetrack. Like once again, I do feel like this scene and like going back to this photo, it just reminds me of when we did the Calm episode where we did the flashback. That like at one point Sephiroth knew everybody's names and like chatted with them and was like a human person.
Yeah.
Like not a fucking monster and not completely without humanity. Like at one time he was a person.
Yeah, like if we remembered this scene from the flashback where
If that
right
part of
after
the memory
this,
was real, that is.
Yeah, like right.
That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
But like right after like this picture was taken, that's when they went to the reactor. That's when
Hmm.
Sephiroth saw Genova. That's kind of when he had this like realization and just went into the Shinra mansion and like read up on everything that's going on and
Yeah.
kind of, lost all humanity and was just like, this is my mission. This is who I am.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
Importantly, it's Sephiroth, Tifa, and this black-haired soldier who again, same outfit as Cloud, looks
Same
exactly
weapon,
like
yeah.
Cloud, just different face.
right.
Yeah.
Cloud says, "Just as I thought, this picture's a fake. The truth is in my memory. 5 years ago, I came back. I love this too. So he starts recounting what he did,
Yeah.
and like your actions that you took during the flashback actually are in his dialogue.
Yep.
So he says, 5 years ago, I came back to Nibelheim to inspect the reactor. I was 16. The town hadn't changed at all. What did I do? Oh, yeah." And then, like, it kind of, like, goes through a little, like, these multiple
I jammed
dialogue
out some
boxes.
tunes.
Dialogue boxes,
Yeah. And what's in the dialogue boxes is dependent on who you talk to and what you did during the flashback.
What if he was like, I went into the one shop and talked to the innkeeper. Wait, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Well,
Weird.
You know what? I would almost like to play it again and not do any of this and just go right to bed and just see what happens or whatever, you know?
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
I went to the town.
Yeah, what did
And
I
that
do?
was it.
And then it just goes on to the next part. Yeah.
I
he's-
saw people in town. Maybe that's all he would have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he says, "I saw my mom. I saw the people in town. Yeah, I went to Tifa's room. There I played the piano.
Played the piano.
I looked in the drawers."
Oh, you said.
Well, because I
Yeah.
didn't take anything out of the drawers, and I told her I was joking during the
Right,
flashback, but he
right.
still says, like, "I looked in the drawers."
Because he didn't say that for me, but I think I also like avoided that part of the game,
Oh, okay, all right.
like intentionally, because I was like, that's a weird thing.
Yeah. He says, "I spent the night and went to the reactor in Mount Nebel. I was excited about it because that was my first mission after becoming first class in Soldier."
Then,
And then, oh man, and then it starts settling in on him.
yeah,
He says, ...
I think there's like a flash noise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
there's
kind-
like white flashes.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of white flashes that kind of keep happening in this point, and it makes
Yeah.
that noise. And I think he like doubles back a little bit as well, and he says, "Soldier, first class," and then I think it like might happen again. And he says, "Soldier, when did I enter Soldier?"
And then he grabs his head.
yeah, and he's like writhing a little bit, like, like we've seen him do before. And he says, "How did I join Soldier?" And then he's like down on his knees and like kind of writhing around in pain. He says, "Why can't I remember?" And then he kind of stands up and he says, I'm, that's right. I didn't have to worry about it because I was ... And then the screen goes black.
Yeah, and Tifa just says, "Cloud,"
So fucked.
and he says, "Let's go, Tifa. I'm all right."
I'm all right.
Yep.
I'm fine.
And that's the end of that
Yep.
sequence right there.
Yep.
And then we pull up into another scene in the center, right? So like
Yeah.
the scene that we're pulling up to is like where that bridge connects to. This is the very center of the impact site,
Yeah.
right? Or the center of the planet's wound, maybe I should say, actually.
Yeah.
Because like the impact was so long ago, and there's something currently happening here. So maybe this is like the wound site.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. This is
The-
where the quote unquote promised land that all of the energy is here to try and repair. Like
Right.
this is the epicenter of it.
And it's like a crystal valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like a little flat area that's surrounded on all sides by these like crystal cliffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Can we talk about like the tonal shift in the music?
Yeah.
It's like, we go from that like very intense Nibelheim like fiery death doom, and then suddenly it's like this like bouncy as shit like Umatsu at his best, like it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
underwater music.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
well, yeah, because the characters that come on screen here too are kind of our goofs, I feel like.
Yeah.
Scarlet's walking animation's so silly.
Yeah, so Rufus and Scarlet come walking in.
Yeah, and she says, "Wow, that's amazing." And I should point out, too, that there is, like, a giant eyelid in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like one of the walls has an eye that's shut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's what that is.
Well, it does, in fact, open and close.
Yeah, but in
occasionally
a different
throughout the
area.
scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
So then, after Scarlet kind of walks ahead up to where like this crystalline wall is,
Yeah.
where there's something in there that we can't quite discern what it is, and then in walks Hojo.
Right. And he doesn't say anything yet, right?
No, but it kind of just tilts up.
My man.
And Scarlet says it's all materia.
Oh, yeah, and when it tilts up, we see, like
It's like tree branches or roots.
yeah,
or,
there's, like,
Yep.
tree roots emanating from a crystal right in the, the
in
middle
the
of this,
center.
like, web of tree roots, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes up the ceiling of this little valley thing.
This cave or
This
whatever
hole,
it is.
yeah.
It almost looks like like a tree roots are this crystal is almost suspended in the middle of I guess what would be the ceiling by these roots that are holding to the edge of this cave area.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it would just have fallen to the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then Scarlet does say it's all materia.
And not all materia, but lowercase a.
Yeah, she just found one all materia. It's all materia.
It's all materia. We're rich.
Scarlet, focus.
We're slightly richer.
Yeah.
Oops, all materia.
And then Rufus says, the outside is rich with Mako energy. The inside is a treasure trove of materia.
Not a treasure house.
Not a treasure house this time. And then he says, this truly is the promised land. And then Hojo starts laughing.
Yeah, Hojo he laughs and says, there is no such thing as the promised land. It's a legend, an old wives' tale. It's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like Rufus, like,
He doesn't miss a beat. He's like just not listening to him at
Yeah,
all. Like, it's just
yeah.
wonderful. Here we are, the promised land.
Yeah, he looks to talk to him, but he doesn't really, like you said, he doesn't like react to what he just says.
Yeah.
He says, everything's as I imagined it to be. Isn't it splendid? It's that kind of, and then, okay, now he responds like Hojo said. And he says, it's that kind of dullness that makes you a second-rate scientist.
Damn.
Ooh,
Yo,
burn.
Gast would have thought this shit was cool.
Yeah. Hojo, you're not my real dad. I wish Gast was still around.
Yeah, and then there's a kind of shift that happens, and Rufus says, "What's happening?" And I think the screen starts shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Scarlet says, "It's coming from within the wall. Something in there is moving." And then in one of the sections of like where this like ice or Mako or whatever it is, this like crystal, there's like an eyelid that opens up really quick and then closes again.
Right.
It's a big green eye.
Yeah.
And Hojo says, weapon. Then it really does exist. I didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
Which we got the story on weapon last time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which again, I know I said it last time, but like, I love that they just dropped a brand new thing on us like halfway through the game. Weapon, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a thing we've talked about ever before. Gonna be a
But
thing.
it's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
And also just a totally missable thing. Like, I think when they have Elena punch you and then you end up in Gast's house, that's like another way for them to be like, hey,
Check out what's in
you
this
should
house.
probably look in
Make
this
sure
house.
you watch those things.
Yeah.
Unless you
right.
duck and she falls.
Yeah. God gamer status.
I would love to know what like the writing process of this story was like. Like, we gotta break the story. Like, what are we gonna do? And like,
Yeah.
What if like we're missing something here? We need to raise the stakes. Like, what about a giant fucking weapon that's created by the planet?
What if the planet made Gundams? Like,
Yeah, it's just like a flowchart after flowchart on like the storyboarding thing. It's
So
like
we gotta connect this to this somehow. Like,
it's like a Brian David Gilbert video of him trying to make sense of the Kingdom Hearts timeline.
I like the naming conventions too. It's like, okay, all caps weapon,
yeah.
all caps soldier.
he works for
Shinra. Anyway, so Hojo says weapon, a monster, a monster created by the planet. They appear when the planet's in danger and destroy everything, which is like, I know that sounds pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's like when I clean my oven.
Yeah. I would say it's like when you get a slight infection, how your body just destroys you.
Deploys weapon or white blood cells.
Yeah, right, yeah. Hojo says that's what was stated in Professor Gast's report. And Rufus says, I never saw that report. Where is it?
Yeah.
And Hojo points to his head and
taps
says,
his brain. He's
Yeah, and he
like,
goes, right here.
Yeah.
My mind palace.
What a dick. I hate Hojo. Like,
He's
I get
such an asshole.
I get that like Shinra are the bad guys, but like I'm even like, Hojo, you fucking asshole. Like it's such a creep. And Rufus just says, you keep a lot of things to yourself.
Yeah, and then it kind of just fades out of that scene, and then it's back to the other half of our party.
Yeah.
Who's still at like the base that we were at.
Right. Which, interestingly enough, you know how y'all said you had Barrett with your party?
Yeah.
I didn't have Barrett, but he's not standing here.
Oh, weird.
Oh, wait, no, he is. I'm sorry. He's just behind the text box entirely.
Oh, okay.
Because I can see just his feet poking out. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
You can just see his feet barely poking out behind the text box. Never mind, he's there.
So yeah, we're back on the landing where we fought Genova Death, right?
Right, correct.
Correct. And that's where the rest of the party is waiting for us.
Right.
Yeah.
To return from our delusion.
Yeah, and Nanaki says, I wonder how Cloud and the others are. It's hard to believe such a small piece of materia could destroy the planet, which I think Barrett's dialogue is like the same, just stylized a little differently to make it sound like it's, coming from Barrett.
Right. And then the screen, like the background of the screen just disappears into like a green whirlwind. And so it's like Red is standing on this like weird moving texture of like...
If it's Red that you have, because it could also be Barrett.
Or Barrett, I'm sorry, and I'm just going to go forward as though it's Red.
Sure.
Red's canon.
Yeah.
Good boy.
He says, what the... Is everybody all right? And he like runs up and down the screen like trying to figure out what is going on and why he can't see anybody.
Yeah, and he says, what's going on?
And he says, where am I? Don't leave me alone.
Aww.
And then Tifa runs in from the top of the screen and says, Red, you're here. I'm so glad. And I'd also like to point out that like I have his name as Red 13.
Yeah.
And so when I have to imagine people saying his name, they don't just say Red. Like on here, she says, Red 13, you're here. Yeah. Which seems very clunky.
Red XIII, you're here. I'm so glad.
and then that like green whirlwind disappears.
Yeah.
And he's back where he was standing before.
Yeah, the rest of the party isn't.
But the rest of the party is not.
It's just him and Tifa.
Yeah. And he says, Tifa, something is strange. Why was it dark all of a sudden? And where is everybody? And she says, everyone's waiting. Cloud's in trouble. Please come help us. Over there.
Yeah.
And like Red's like hesitant for a second. He's like, right. Yeah, let's do it. And he says, I'm not sure I understand, but I'll go if you want me to. And he runs off.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I was saying earlier that like, I don't blame Red.
No, absolutely.
He's doing his
guy.
job.
Yeah, no,
I feel
absolutely.
so bad for him.
And
He's not giving anything to anyone.
Yeah. And Barrett like when he's like hesitating, he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but let's get on with it.
Okay,
and he runs off. Yeah.
And then and so Tiva's left on the screen, and Tiva looks like right at the camera pretty much. It says he, and remember the black materia, and turns into
and then
Sephiroth.
turns into Sephiroth.
Yeah,
does like a cutesy little pose and then turns into Sephiroth.
And I wish that like we could when he turned back into the Sephiroth form that we could see Sephiroth in that cute little pose,
Magical
that
girl's
little
transformation.
magical girl pose.
Hell yeah.
Sephiroth's model.
Yeah, I mean he is doing the outstretched hands that he always
Also,
does.
I would like to say real quick, I talked about this in the episode about the flashback, and I mentioned, I was like, I can't wait to talk about this thing, and then I never did it.
Yeah.
That was like 13 episodes ago or more.
Red 13 episodes.
Yeah, but I've said something about Sephiroth's walking animation, and I want to bring it up right here. Have you been noticing this whole game how Sephiroth walks?
It's wild.
He walks on his tiptoes, and he has his hands like
His hands
stretched
are,
out
like,
to his
stretched
side.
out, yeah.
He walks like
It's like he's like wading through like a swamp.
It looks like he's wading through a swamp when he's walking. Yeah, he's like, and he wobbles from side to side. It's like it's real
Right.
goofy.
He's disgusted by the earth that he can't bear to walk on it. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know. He's like, ew.
He walks like a marionette.
Yeah, he does. It's really weird.
like a Backstreet Boy.
But that's how he always walks
that-
throughout the game, and
Was
it's
that Backstreet
really
Boys?
funny.
Or was
The
that
marionette
NSYNC?
one? Or
I
was
think
that
might have
NSYNC?
been
I think that was
strings
NSYNC.
No strings
The-
attached.
The
I'm
marionettes.
sorry.
I'm pretty sure it was in sync, and they had like action figure. Or I guess
Now you're the
dolls.
puppet.
They had dolls that were like the marionette versions of all of NSYNC.
Who is somebody from NSYNC?
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. You are.
Which one
a
is?
puppet.
Wait. I can bring this full circle and make it relevant. Lance Bass is in.
Lance Bass.
Oh yeah,
He's
Plays
in Backstreet
Sephiroth in
Boys.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
in Kingdom Hearts,
Hell
and
yeah.
he does the voice of Sephiroth. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Boom, brought it back in.
Dude, I remember when I read that, like when Kingdom
That's
Hearts was
why
coming
they
out.
knew in this game that he was.
But yeah, I remember reading that and being like, man, that's so lame. That's gonna suck. And then like I remember he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Like I remember being
Yeah,
like,
it was,
oh hell yeah,
It was pretty sweet.
hell yeah.
I think that
He better be him in the remake.
I was gonna say every
He's
time
not.
every time they've ever like shied away from like using 90s boy bands as voice actors for all the Final Fantasy characters was a mistake.
Yeah.
Bring back that trend.
Bring back Bender as a voice actor in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
gosh.
So the screen shifts back to the little that like epicenter area, right? Like
Yeah.
the area that we saw Rufus and
Well, before that, after Sephiroth disappears,
Oh, you're
it,
right.
It shows
Important,
the
yeah.
rest of our party, and they're all like knocked out.
yeah.
And then they
so
all kind of get up and like gather themselves.
the
They
whole
were,
party
like-
was there the whole time, just being like obscured by Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Illusions.
And they got like
Illusion.
it's probably the same sort of thing that happened where he like flew down and knocked them
Yeah.
out, and then like left Red and then did all of that
Right.
illusion shit.
Yeah, that illusory wall.
Hell
that he
yeah.
put
Some
up.
fucking Thanos bullshit.
Yeah. So we skip over to Rufus and Hojo and everybody. Scarlet says, "Mr. President, I've had a bad feeling about this place." And Rufus says, "Maybe we should go back to the ship for now. We need to prepare for the inspection anyway."
Yeah.
And I like that. Like at that point in my head, I was like, yeah, I guess if you were like, I was trying to imagine like what would the boring daily, like if this was routine, like if you were like Shinra, you'd be like, yeah, you'd have some guys on the ship who would come down and like get their meters out and like look around and shit
Yeah.
like that. And I like that like Rufus is living in this world of fucking magic and make believe, but is so centered on like profit and business
Yeah.
that he's just like, he just still operates as though that's normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I really want to know if like Shinra has like team building like get
Oh, God.
outings.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to.
Well, they have that song that they make their soldiers sing.
Oh right.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, so then the screen kind of flashes white,
Yeah.
and Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa are all
Just
on the
there.
screen now.
They're
yeah.
just on the screen. They
They're
like
ju-
didn't walk in. They just go, psh, and then they appear there. It's real unsettling. It's
yeah,
very weird.
yeah. And Scarlet says, "Hey, where did you come from?" And then
Yeah,
Cloud says-
everybody's like, what the fuck just happened?
yeah, and Cloud's like, "Don't know."
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, where did you come from? And Cloud says, don't know.
Yeah, and then he says, "This place is going to get rough. Better leave things to me and get out of here while you still can." And then Rufus is like kind of shocked. He's like, "Leave things to you? I don't know what you mean." And then Cloud says, "This is where the reunion is happening, where everything begins and ends."
Oh,
and then
Yeah, and starting with this next line, Tifa says multiple lines throughout the scene that's coming up, but they're all not in a dialogue box. They're in that
Yeah,
white
it's like
text.
muted.
yeah, it's in that white text that kind of just overlays. So it's like,
Yeah, you get the feeling that she's shouting, but no one's hearing her.
Yeah.
Like,
She forgot to unmute her mic on the call.
My theory, I guess, throughout this is that maybe like we can see her as like the viewer, but Sephiroth might be cloaking her from everyone else.
yeah,
Possibly.
like,
so
like,
so her influence does not like
play into the scene.
Play
right,
into
like
the s-
Scarlet, Hojo, and Rufus can't see her or Barrett.
Yeah,
They can
yeah, and
only
they don't
see
say
Cloud.
anything
Yeah.
to them either. So.
Yeah, and
they
Tifa
only
says,
see Cloud.
yeah, so Tifa's saying Cloud, and then Red 13 runs in. And he
Oh,
says,
Red runs in. Oh
yeah,
no.
and he says, I'm here to help you, Cloud."
Aw,
Yeah, and
such a good boy.
Cloud like shivers real quick.
Yeah.
and then walks up to Red
And he
says-
keeps kind of doing that. He steps a little bit, and then he does like a weird. It almost looks like he's in like a straight jacket kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
like with his where his arms are, and he like wiggles a little bit, and then continues walking.
Yeah, and he says, "Thanks, Red. Where's the black materia?" And you see Tifa again go, "Cloud!" And
Yeah.
like it's completely muted out. And Red says, "It's safe. I'm holding on to it." And Cloud
Yeah.
goes, "I'll take it from here. Give me the black materia."
Yeah.
They go, "Give me the One Ring."
Yeah, and then Tifa says, "You can't hear my voice?" And then as that's happening, Red says, "Are you all right, Cloud?" Then, "Here you go. I was a little apprehensive holding this thing," and he gives it back to Cloud.
Yeah, and Tifa again says, "No, don't. Please stop, Cloud."
yeah.
And there's no comment there. It doesn't seem like stop, Cloud.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
she's saying like, no, stop Cloud.
Cloud.
Like she knows that Cloud is doing this thing that he's done a couple of times before with like disastrous results, and she's like, no.
Yeah,
Don't
stop
let
him.
this
Don't let him.
happen.
Yeah. Cloud says, "Thanks. Leave the rest to me." And then the fucking screen flashes, and we get like that. You know how we always have like the layover text.
Yeah.
The layover text is fucking red.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that's ever happened?
I think so.
Yeah. So we're looking at like
so.
a solid white screen, and then just like blood red text that just says, "Come on, the black materia."
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then another voice pops in that's gray, and it says, "Please wait a little longer."
Yeah, just a little longer. And it's weird because it's in like the top left.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's almost like the exact reverse of like the "See You Space Cowboy" at the end of Cowboy Bebop.
Cloud turns around and says, "Everyone, thanks for everything, and I'm sorry." And he starts looking at everybody and going, "Sorry."
Yeah, he looks
Sorry.
over to Barrett, who's kind of behind Rufus. Then he looks at Tifa, and he says,
Then he looks at Red next and says, "Sorry."
"Oh, for me, he looked at him last."
Right.
Oh, really?
That's because you had
In your party.
you got you had Red get with the black materia. You had Barrett with the black materia.
No,
everybody had
Okay.
I had Red. So yeah, in some order, he looks at everyone in his party and he apologizes and says, "Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry." And then he says, "Especially you, Tifa. I'm
That's
really
why I
sorry."
thought that he talked to you last.
I think he says,
Because see, here, I'm going to show you my Switch.
"Oh, you were absolutely
Yeah,
right."
he looks
Sorry.
at Sid, says sorry. It looks at Red, says sorry. And then looks at Tifa and says, "Especially you. I'm really
Cut it out,
sorry."
Alex. No.
All right.
Snap.
He says, "You've been so good to me. I don't know what to say. I never lived up to being Cloud." And Cloud is in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Tifa, maybe one day you'll meet the real Cloud.
Ah.
I know.
Ugh.
And fucking Hojo, what a shit ass. He just he just goes,
It's
"This
his
is
fucking
perfect."
birthday.
Yeah.
I know, he's so stoked. Like, he's just like, is completely divorced from all the drama and everything happening. He's just like, "This
Yahtzee.
rules." Yeah, he's like, "This is so good."
Checks off his
I
bingo
did
card.
it. I did it. What number?
Yeah, I know he does. Yeah, he says, it means that my experiment was a complete success. What number were you? Where is your tattoo? And the Cloud says, "Professor Hojo, I don't have a number. You didn't give me one because you said I was a failed experiment." And like Hojo's like taken aback. He's like, "What the? You mean only a failure made it here?" And Cloud says, "Professor, please give me a number. Please, Professor." It's super sad, man.
very
'Cause we've
sad.
we've seen Cloud be on like
So
some heights,
depressing.
you know, like doing all kinds of victories and fucking doing all kinds of action shit. And,
Belittling everything and being like, "Ah, that was nothing." Like
And
doing
the-
flips and shit when
and
he
he's
doesn't need
just completely
to.
dehumanized.
Like docile now.
Yeah, docile, completely dehumanized. Just he's just asking Hojo for a number.
Yeah, like Hojo of all
Like
people.
that's the thing that will define him, right? Because that's like the whole thing is like Cloud's always been wondering who he is,
Yeah.
right? Like, who am I? What am I? Where do I come from? Whatever. Even in
It's like total disassociation. Like
Yeah.
he's just completely gone at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like to the point where now like he's lost his identity so much that literally just a number that Hojo will give him some semblance of identity that he can say
Yeah.
who he is. And Hojo just says, "Shut up, you miserable failure."
Which is like wild because like
He could just be like 69.
yeah, exactly.
Like it would
Nice.
take no effort whatsoever.
Yeah,
Just
and
be
it's-
like, "I don't know."
Yeah, but it's also
21
like,
blackjack.
yeah, I'm a failure or whatever, but I'm the one who did all of this.
I
Like,
know. He
I'm kind
actually
of-
accomplished it.
yeah,
What
like
the
your
fuck, Hojo?
hypothesis was wrong, but your experiment was still a
He's just being
success.
petty now.
Oh
Hojo's
yeah, he's
just
just
being petty.
a piece of shit, a
Yeah.
sore loser.
Because like I like to think that he like, you know, like in his least humane, at least he's like divorced from the situation in a way that you could almost write him off and like
Yeah.
what he says off. But now he's literally just going out of his way to be mean. He's
Yeah.
worse than being entirely just.
Yeah, that's a
disassociate
really
from
good
it.
point. Yeah.
What a fucking dick.
yeah, but Cloud
Hojo
kind
sucks.
of hangs his head and like
Yeah.
droops his shoulders,
And then starts fucking flying.
yeah, he just
Flying.
floats up.
Like
Yeah, he
you're
played.
gonna talk shit about me. You're gonna call me miserable failure. I'm gonna fly into the ceiling.
Yeah, he does. He like
Like, that's the
floats
ultimate
up in the
power
air
move.
and then yeah.
It's such a power move. You're right.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen this before with like the Sephiroth clones and shit like that outside of the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah,
right? Where they'll
yeah,
float
yeah.
up in the air. And Sephiroth does it all the time, where he floats up a little bit and then flies off. And Cloud,
He's turning into a cloud.
God.
He's a real cloud now.
the exasperation in your voice just now, Mike. You're like, good. And then yeah,
And, like I love how Rufus's response is like mild bemusement.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who was that?
who was that?
person that just
Not-
flew into the fucking sky?
yeah, and not only who was that, like. I don't remember a dude with a giant sword trying to assassinate me on the building of my headquarters.
Yeah.
I'm just really busy. That's just a thing that happens every day. I don't
Yeah.
have time to keep tabs on everybody.
I can't be bothered to remember everyone's name.
Unless
except
there is.
Sephiroth.
Yeah, he's just like his father. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hojo says, he's a Sephiroth clone I created after the real Sephiroth died 5 years ago. Genova Cells and Mako, with my knowledge and skills, have been combined with science and nature to bring him to life. And then he continues on and he says,
This line.
I'm not wild about the failure part, but the Genova reunion theory has now been proven.
I like the casualness. Like, oh, I'm not wild about the failure part.
Yeah. And he said,
He's like, I guess I'll take a win on that one.
Yeah.
It's a real C- day for me, though.
Yeah, and he says, you see, even if Genova's body is dismembered, it will eventually become one again. That is what is meant by Genova's reunion. I have been waiting for the reunion to start. 5 years have passed, and now the clones have begun to return. So we kind of get, like, why all of this has been going on. Like, why all of these clones have been drawn here.
Yeah, and I love the idea that, like, these, like, just little pieces of Genova, even, like, on the cellular level, right? Like, just that inside of somebody is enough to make them be like, I have to go to this reunion, you know? Get back to it. It's real disturbing.
Yeah, and Hojo says, but my predictions were not entirely...
Wait, hold on. There's one more line before that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, Hojo says, I thought the clones would begin to gather at Midgar. That's where Genova's stored. But my predictions were not entirely correct. Genova itself began to move away from the Shinra building.
Yeah.
And then the screen comes back up. Like, Hojo's still talking, but that, like, white flash is done now, right?
Yeah.
And we see Cloud standing upside down on those tree roots that are kind of making up the ceiling. It's really trippy. It's a very weird scene, right?
Yeah.
And Hojo and Rufus and everybody are on the ground. Like, we're able to see Cloud and the ground at the same time. So we see, like, the actors down on the ground talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then Cloud standing upside down on these tree roots or whatever they are on the ceiling.
Dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah. It's real trippy. Hojo says, but being the genius that I am, I soon figured it out. You see, it was all Sephiroth's doing. Sephiroth is not just content to diffuse his will into the life stream. He wants to manipulate the clones himself. And then Cloud sits down, and when I say sits down, he sits up, I guess, because he's upside down.
Sits upon his bottom that is on the ceiling.
He kind of gets into, like, almost a fetal position.
Yeah, and he starts, like, kind of like, the next couple lines from Cloud are just like his inner monologue, right?
Yeah, it's like the white text over the screen.
Yeah, he says, yes, that's how it got started. Hojo says, I wondered where the clones were going, but I was never able to figure it out. And then Cloud's thoughts are, I couldn't figure it out either.
Yeah.
Hojo says, the one thing I did know was that Sephiroth was at their final destination. And then Cloud's thought is, I wasn't pursuing Sephiroth. I was being summoned by Sephiroth.
Yeah.
All the anger and the hatred that I bore him made it impossible for me to ever forget him, and that's what he gave me. Sephiroth, I'm here, and I brought you the black materia.
Yeah.
Show yourself to me. Where are you? And then, like, you get to move around as Cloud upside down, and it's very disorienting. I couldn't figure out where to go or what to do. But eventually, Cloud will say, Sephiroth, so we finally meet again. And, like, man, it's so fucked up, dude. Like, you remember we were saying, I brought it up a couple times, the beach episode, the Costa del Sol, where Hojo asks him, he's like, don't you ever feel like you need to go somewhere or that you're being summoned somewhere? And Cloud's answer is just like, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm just trying to look for Sephiroth. I'm going to kill Sephiroth.
Yeah.
And, like, that's literally what Hojo is asking him, is like, don't you feel summoned somewhere? And he answers the question directly. Like, the only thing I care about is Sephiroth. And he's like, that's exactly what I thought.
It's really cool how this game, like, in, like, the meta of it, it's like, oh, okay, you're playing a video game, you have to go from point A to point B. There's things that guide you to the next place. It's like, oh, we saw Sephiroth heading across the ocean. Oh, that's where we need to go. That's the next place I have to go.
Yeah, which is a video gamey thing.
Yeah, it's a video gamey thing where it's like A to B, you know, and it makes sense in context and stuff, but now it makes even more sense where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
this
calling me a puppet, like me following him everywhere, me being like, oh, I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to find Sephiroth. That's my mission. I'm gonna find Sephiroth and I'm gonna kill him. And
that was of his design. That was of Sephiroth's design.
Yeah, like literally just been leading us here. Fuck.
It's such good game design to be able to tie the plot into that sort of feeling of like helplessness of going towards the thing that you're supposed to be going towards, and
right.
Like,
yeah.
It's rad. It's got very BioShock before BioShock kind of vibes.
Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing.
His like origin story was kind of engineered in a weird way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
his trail of vengeance.
Yeah.
Right.
That was kind of given to him. That's so wild.
I know. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's such good storytelling.
Again, reminds me a little bit of Blade Runner. There's always like,
Yeah.
just like
Total
we're
Blade
planting
Runner vibes.
motivations in you like all the time.
Yeah.
So when Cloud says like, oh, like I finally meet you again, Sephiroth, he's at the very center of like where these tree roots are growing out from, where there's like the crystal like giant like, you know, whatever it was. and then that kind of he like touches it, and it sort of starts to fall.
Yeah,
from,
it starts
from
like,
the
descending,
ceiling.
yeah.
And it falls out, and then we get our first glimpse at the actual
The
Sephiroth.
actual Sephiroth is encased in this crystal,
He's
right?
and we can only see
Mako crystal.
Yeah, we can only see his torso and up because he has no legs.
Yeah, he has no legs.
Yeah, he's just like been cut in half.
Yep.
Yeah, so
As though he suffered some sort of near fatal injury at some point in his past.
Grievous wound.
yeah. Well,
But I'm pretty sure that will never come back up. So don't
well,
worry
I mean,
about it.
Hojo did say the real Sephiroth died 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So,
Which, your bottom half being lopped off is a
Yeah.
thing that might kill you.
now
Maybe.
maybe unless you're Darth Maul, who apparently survived that,
God.
and then had spider legs in some iteration of the canon.
Yeah.
maybe.
His by fear willpower, he just stayed alive.
God, what a cool what a cool villain. That was totally underutilized. Come on the podcast, George Lucas, defend yourself about Star Wars.
I think he'll be back. Honestly, since they're doing the Obi-Wan movie that takes place between the points of the Solo movie was. Spoiler alert: Darth Maul's in Solo at the end of Solo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
Hell
gonna say.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
So because the Obi-Wan series that they announced is taking place during that period, there's probably a chance of
Yeah.
Obi-Wan talk.
Yeah.
Do you want to do we can do like a content warning at the beginning of this episode and just be like, hey, if you haven't seen Solo, we're going to talk about the end of
It's on Blu-ray and digital.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was on Blu-ray. You ruined it.
You should have it come back right at that.
But also Sephiroth in this too. Like I was noticing that like he looks like he's been like asleep or
Yeah.
like just in stasis, right? Like he's doing all of this with his force of will,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Which
and
is fucking wild.
Yeah, and Hojo points it out. He says, "Did you see it? It's Sephiroth. He is here. This is perfect. Both Genova's reunion and Sephiroth's will. They won't be diffused into the live stream, but gathered here." Mwah.
Yeah, I know. And Tifa asks what fucking I feel like everybody is feeling. She's
Yeah.
like, what are you so happy about, Professor? You know what this means, don't you? Cloud has the black materia. like which, Hojo might not know that, like, you fucking idiot, you know what's getting ready to happen here.
Yeah.
He might not know about Meteor.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Or it's just like he's like, I'm like rich.
Or doesn't think it's here.
Yeah, or he's like, hey, I'm rich and well connected. I'll be fine. This catastrophe is
maybe.
going to happen and it's going to kill most people, but I'll be fine.
We got a space program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Probably a Shinra bunker
Fucking
somewhere.
Hojo is fucking Elon Musk.
Yeah,
He's just like, we're gonna...
I was going to say, like, if only we could, relate this to real world things that are happening.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
But yeah, Tifa says, Sephiroth is going to summon Meteor. Every single person is going to die. And then Rufus says, whatever I say now is too little too late. We must evacuate.
which is a wild thing.
Yeah.
Again, I guess like Rufus is fucking evil as shit. He kind of like has that, like, you know how we talk about like the evil of capitalism is very like
Yeah.
dry. Like he's very dry in that same way where he's like, I fucked up, whatever, we're evacuating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not an
Yeah,
apology necessarily, but
I could apologize, but it's not going to amount to anything yet because
Right.
I am also like part of this problem is at my feet. Like I have helped facilitate this as well.
right. But it's again, it's that very like dry, like here's just the next step. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like we're gonna go.
He's
on.
also
So,
got to
like,
consult with the speechwriting staff before he makes a statement. Make sure that, the policy advisors.
He says, I want you all to come with me. There's still much more I want to know. And then Red says, Cloud, no, stop, please. And the camera tilts up and we see Cloud again hovering. They're like floating in the air.
Yeah.
In front of that crystal, like cocoon or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think he kind of like floats back and forth and around and stuff.
He
So I
does.
think he's kind of trying to fight it. Maybe
I didn't know if that's
I'm
how
not-
I should.
I'm not sure. Like
Because I
it's-
feel like at this point he's like given up to it. You know what I
Right,
mean? But I
yeah.
know what you're saying.
with all the dialogue, but like it's kind of like he's floating back and forth and like writhing a little bit. So it seems like there might be some kind of struggle that he's going through.
It could be. Could be.
Yeah, and Tifa calls out to him. She says Cloud, and he continues doing that. And then we just get a kick-ass like FMV of
yeah.
Cloud just reaching through the like crystal.
Yeah,
like it's water. Like he just
yeah,
sort of
like it's water.
Yeah, really, really cool. And he's just holding the black materia, which is now a sphere.
You're right. It is. I didn't even notice
Now it
that.
just looks like a normal materia.
They weren't gonna make the guys model that thing.
Yeah.
a whole cone. No way.
And it just kind of it moves towards Sephiroth's like abs, and then like it
Oh,
starts.
those abs.
It like diffuses into the crystal. It's
Yeah,
weird because
and
I have
it's-
like a picture of like
Yeah, and it like
It
starts
looks wild.
sparking.
It's like a Tide Pod.
They can't give it to Yuffie because she'll eat it.
Teens.
Well, all right. That was a good episode, everybody.
Yeah.
See you next week. No,
So so Sephiroth, like we just kind of see his his torso and everything, and like all these sparks emitting from where the black material
yeah, it looks
diffused
brutal.
into
And
him.
I assume this is him using the black material.
Yeah.
Like his subconscious will is just like using it right now.
Yeah, and then we're back down at like the ground level where everyone is,
And everybody's just scramming.
Yeah,
They're all
everyone's-
like, fuck this.
cheese it.
Yeah, cheese it.
And we also see that eyeball that was
Yes.
opened again,
And like for like
but like
opened,
not
opened.
closing. Yeah, like before it
Yeah.
like opened and then kind of blinked and like just closed.
Like it was just keeping like it was just checking out what's going on, but it's disinterested.
Yeah, and then I think the
5 more
Sephiroth-
minutes.
hit the snooze
Yeah.
button.
But yeah, now it is wide awake now.
Yeah, and then the Sephiroth crystal kind of falls.
It falls out of that like tree cradle. that
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
in,
and then
yeah.
the tree like also collapsed and looks like water just kind of clumps.
pours down on top
Yeah.
of it.
Like it
and
was holding. It was like it was suspending like an ocean or a lake or something.
Yeah.
It's super wild.
It's
Yeah.
wild. And yeah, it's just flooding this whole area just completely out now.
Yeah, and then we get a real kick-ass
Oh,
FMV of
great one.
weapon emerging.
Oh my god. And that's the thing, there are multiple weapons.
Oh yeah, we see the airship taking
Yeah.
off away.
Yeah.
Which I think I'm watching it right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the guys are just kind of exploding.
Yeah, it's shooting up like a giant fucking like pillar of like light and Mako and yeah.
Oh, when you said geyser, I was looking at my screenshot that has like our characters, and I thought you said the guys are exploding.
guys are exploding.
I was like, oh my god, boom!
We'd
Oh
li-
no!
We'd like to apologize for our use of the word geyser. Coming up next, the story of the cantankerous old geyser.
Oh yeah, then we see our sick ass looking Weapon, who looks kind of like a God, what was that fucking CG TV show that was Reboot or something like that?
Beast
Yeah,
Transformers
it kinda
Beast Wars or something.
What?
Reboot, right?
Oh, reboot. Yeah, he looks like a megabyte.
Megabyte. There you
Yeah.
He looks like Megabyte from Reboot.
Or
Oh
like
my God.
the monsters from like what was it, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad or whatever.
Oh hell yeah!
That's basically what's going on here.
Yeah.
Just like cranked
But-
to 11.
Yeah, but so,
yeah, your typical kaiju, like
Yeah,
Godzilla
yeah.
sort of
they seem kind of like
mechanical. Oh hell yeah, absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
It's Reboot. It's just
They kind of remind me of like a hybrid of like your stereotypical kaiju, like a Godzilla, and like a mech. They kind of
Yeah.
seem
Yeah.
like mechs almost.
Yeah.
And like maybe somewhat dragony as well.
This is what I
so
wanted.
Ava units.
yeah.
This is what I wanted from the Pacific Rim sequel. Was just kaiju fused with
Yeah.
Jaegers.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
And like they are big. There's a scene here of one of them just towering over the high wind, which we should say. I don't think we actually said.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
The thing that
That Shinra was flying.
That
in.
Shin
The
was
quote
flying on
long range airship.
is a long range airship. Yeah.
Sid finally got his airship. Those 3 days went by, and he was able to start flying it.
All right, the FMV's going, and they're on the deck.
Yeah,
like-
like all the characters.
Sid
in our
still has
part-
a cigarette in his mouth.
Of course.
Fuck
Yeah,
he
it's
does.
a stressful time. Shit's getting real.
But yeah, one of them like one of these weapons rises up, and I mean like the entire height, top to bottom of the airship is like maybe the size of its shoulder or like knee. Like
Yeah.
These things are
enormous.
absolutely massive.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, real kaiju, right? Like that's what they are. They're
Yeah.
like-
You said things, so there are multiple weapons.
oh yeah, there's I
Yeah.
think there's like
Yes.
Oh, God.
four at
It's-
least in the scene.
it's
Here.
kind- Yeah.
I thought it was just the one.
Well, there's this guy.
So there's I
Oh.
think there's 5,
yeah,
Jesus.
there's that one.
but they added 2 of them for the US release.
Yeah, correct. Like in the original Japanese one, there was only like the ones that you have to encounter later, which we'll
Right.
talk about.
But
All
they
right,
even
Sid
added
looks
them
up
into
and
the
then-
FMV sequence too, because
Yeah.
that part wasn't even in the Japanese one either.
Oh,
okay, because
wow.
I was gonna say those two are in the FMV sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wait, my correction. I'm watching the FMV. So we look at the deck of the high wind. Everyone's reeling back, and Sid has the cigarette in his mouth, and it falls out of his mouth.
Oh no.
Nice.
He was like, "Oh,
Environmental storytelling.
Yeah, everybody falls down, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like the camera lingers very gratuitously
Oh, it's
on Tifa.
so
Oh,
so
100%.
wrong.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where I realized that the remake, they did not make her breasts smaller. They made the rest of her bigger. I think.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I'm not trying to. I don't want to. I'm not trying to be too much of either a fuddy duddy or let it go. But like,
Yeah.
it's gratuitous.
No, absolutely.
It's gratuitous.
Yeah. Like
There is a lot of physics that don't really need to be expressed.
Yeah, the angles
It's like
that
they were
they're
testing
showing
the
her
physics
falling.
engine solely, just using Tifa there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. So,
But
whatever.
yeah, Tifa falls down, and then Barrett kind of runs up to her and like starts to pick her up and
Right.
everything. And then there's like a huge flash in the distance, and it kind of zooms past Barrett's face, where we get a cool look at his cool kick-ass earring.
Yeah, we
there's-
do.
And then we kind of just see like one of the weapon.
Yeah, those
like,
are the weapons.
Yeah, flying
out.
up, and like there's a huge force field around it and stuff, and just
Yeah.
all kinds of.
And then there starts to be like this emanation of light or like an explosion. I mean, there already has been from the center, but it like
Yeah.
gets significantly larger, and the High Wind's like speeding away from it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And yeah, you're right, Alex. You did say earlier, like spoiler, like I don't think we've gotten the name of the ship yet, but we'll get it next episode. It's the High Wind.
It's the High Wind.
We
The
saw
High
it on our first trip to
Junon.
Junon. Yeah, and
Also,
Cloud
a weird
Master.
thing. I actually saw a different insert disc 2 image where it's another famous image that I think we talked about on that episode, where it's just Aerith standing in front of the High Wind.
I think this might be actually a good time to maybe wrap it before, because I know there's going to be some extra stuff coming on that involving Tifa, and I think
Yeah.
maybe we should save that for the next episode. Maybe
that's fine with me.
Yeah,
also,
I think so.
also because Mike, you got a jet in like 10 minutes.
Good daddle.
Hell yeah.
I got a boogie.
All right. Well, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that sounds good to me. Yeah. The High Wind speeds off, and we're kind of looking back on this place exploding and going fucking nuts, and the weapons coming out.
Oh, yeah.
So I
If
think
you're playing along, there is a save point like 10 minutes into the next section.
Yeah.
When you're tied up. Spoiler.
right. Tied up, with things to do.
When you're tied up.
When
You.
my tied up.
No, I don't mean like that. I just mean like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Spoilers. Someone's tied up, but we don't know who it is.
So a lot has happened.
Yeah, I would say that the state we're leaving the game in now is basically everything's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit's fucked.
It's our Empire Strikes Back moment.
This is our
bad shit
Empire
has
Strikes Back
happened.
moment.
There's another Death Star?
Fully operational battle station.
Yeah, it will be quite operational when your friends arrive. No, listeners could not see the wiggling that I was doing during that, but I was doing a lot of it.
I can't wait for more Sheev this Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quite operational when your friends arrive. Yeah.
Oh, God.
You want this? Take it. Strike me down.
All right, so what do we got coming up?
Hey,
What do we got coming up next week?
Mike, you Oh yeah, actually, we'll do this afterwards. I'm sorry. No, go ahead and do it. Mike, you stream,
Yeah.
right? Yes. Tell us where we can go watch you stream.
Oh, hi. Okay. So twitch.tv/curious quail, like the bird. My wife
That'll
and I
be
do
in
like
the- Yeah, that'll be in the show
weekly-
notes.
Yeah,
Cool,
Quail, like
yeah.
what Dick Cheney was trying to shoot at,
He was
allegedly.
trying to shoot it and then just accidentally hit his friend.
That's right.
Who among us hasn't done that? Well,
Of course.
hunting and being a genocidal warmonger.
Yeah,
Get his ass.
got him.
But
I'm
yeah,
glad
my
somebody
wife and I
finally got him.
stream. My wife and I stream just basically kind of whatever's like striking our fancy. We did a couple of weeks of Goose Game. We've done a lot of like Overland and stuff like that.
Oh, I watched
So-
you guys the first night that you.
Oh,
were
that's
playing
right. It was
Overland.
you. I didn't know
and
which one of you on the account it
realize
was.
that the guy or gal or who I don't know the person. So
Harris,
let me
yeah.
take it back. Yeah, who made Overland was in the chat, and I was like,
Yeah, Harris
yo,
is
this
like
game
the-
looks
he's-
fucking nuts, and they were
he's the
like,
community
it's all right,
director.
and I was like, yo, this Joker doesn't know anything.
I had a nice little interaction with them like a few years ago when I applied to be work on the soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
They listened
Come
to
on the
some-
podcast, defend yourself. Why didn't you hire Alex?
It wasn't a fit. I'd be much poorer by now probably
Yeah.
if I was working on that
Yeah.
game. It looks great.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing.
It looks so fun.
Go play Overland. But yeah, like you were saying. Next-
I also do music and like rock stuff with Hella Chiptune, and like our band has like a violinist and our drummer's background is like symphonic percussion, so we go a
Fuck
little
yeah.
fucking
Hell
all
yeah.
over the
You've
place.
all played Magfest, right?
I have the distinction of my band played Magfest, and I watched it from my bed because I was hospitalized with pneumonia before I was supposed to fly to Maryland.
Oh, no.
I remember
So-
that.
Yeah, so they played on stage with stems of my vocal tracks.
Hell yeah.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they built a mic stand with a picture of me and a bunch of my cats, and
That's
put it
so
on
good.
like center stage. Yeah,
Oh, that's
it was
so good.
So
pretty
good.
sweet of them.
Well, you gotta play it soon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got a cat there with you right now?
Yeah. Let's see. This is Topaz. I'm not sure if
Oh, Topaz.
Topaz probably isn't going to say anything. Topaz isn't really a talker.
No, fair
That's
enough.
okay. Great podcaster.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for hopping on so last
No,
minute.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This part of the game in particular, like it's so heartbreaking and so fascinating to see it,
Yeah.
just where it goes.
Just absolutely debilitating where
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god.
And
Got hit by a truck of plot. right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
like Alex was saying a second ago, so the next section that we're going to do for our listeners is we're going to do what I've been calling Junon Part 2. So we're going to be stuck in Junon for a little bit. There's a big meaty bit coming up. We're going to have a lot of plot and a lot of actions. If you'll remember on a much earlier episode, I said at one point, Kate's Sith limit break caused me to game over, and I had to go all the way back. This is the part where that happened.
No.
Makes sense.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing all of Junon. Once we leave Junon, that's where we'll cut it next time. Like, there's enough in Junon for a whole
Yeah,
episode.
there's plenty.
Just like our first over 2 hours and 15 minutes episode was also Junon.
Yep.
That set a record at the time of how
Yeah, at the
longest
time,
episode.
and now it's just like average.
That's just what this podcast is
That's
now.
we have such quality content.
That's podcasting, baby.
Baby. Oh my god. Important question. What are y'all doing for lunch?
I don't know yet.
I'm kind of hungry. I don't know if y'all are. or
I'm
not.
hungry. I could
We
eat.
will be.
Oh, I guess we have to do practice too.
We're gonna practice, dude. Oh yeah, Curse and I are gonna go practice some No Doubt songs for.
Hell
Halloween.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, Mike. Thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, Mike.
I'm gonna-
housekeeping.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna read some credits.
All right.
All
Right on.
And then afterwards, when Mike leaves, I'm gonna read a bunch of names to thank too. So
Right on.
stick
Okay.
around. I did not forget you. So theme music is a remix by DJ Cutman. Feature music is by Nubo Uematsu. I'm really excited to actually edit those in. Those are going to be a lot of really good music cues this episode. Apologies for last episode because there was like one song and there was like no echo, so it was a very dry episode. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Tell us all those things that you like about us. like about Mike, like about cats.
Tell us which one of Mike's cats is your favorite.
That's right. If you're wrong, though, we will publicly call you out and shame you.
We'll have to have each cat individually on.
Yeah, yeah.
Just send you a bunch of meow samples.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
If you would.
We'll bind them all to the thing.
Yeah, to our sample pad.
You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at every FNFF. On all those. I almost said .com. But we are at everyfnf.com. I don't know if I've ever everyfnff.com.
Yeah, we have the website.
We have a website, not a Squarespace, because they don't
Not a
sponsor us.
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
sponsor us, so we don't do it.
That's right. Don't come on the podcast, Squarespace. You haven't paid us to do that.
We're a Wix household.
That has been episode 19 of Every FNFF Season 1.
Dun, 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 dun.